Left coast is the best coast. Left coast is the best coast.
How's it going?
We can't hear Rick. he's offline already. He muted himself, yeah.
How's that?
There you go.
There we go.
All right, so good. I had to play it twice.
Yeah.
So how's your guys' week going so far?
Better now. It's the weekend.
Better now.
Yeah.
You were saying you got some Sharknadoes coming through your area?
Yeah, it's gonna get pretty nasty here for a little bit tonight in Chicagoland with the storms. So if I all of a sudden stop being here, it's because I lost power.
Or got hit by a tornado.
Yeah. Stay safe, man. We all fear ever having that come through our community and neighborhood, and I hope to never see one myself. So yeah, stay safe, man.
I'm sure it'll be fine, but thanks.
Today was my Friday as well, Rolando.
There was one when I was a kid.
I have memories of seeing one, like, a funnel cloud or whatever, but not like one that took out a town or a farm or a cow. Things that you see in the movies. And
we had one go right through
real life, right?
It went right through our backyard and took a tree out, and then on the neighbor's house down the road, it took their back porch.
It's just insane, Mother Nature, man.
It was weird because it cut their back porch off the house perfectly straight and perfectly even. Like, it's the weirdest. Like someone took a saw blade and just cut the back porch off and put it over there. You know what I mean? It was like absolutely perfectly straight. I remember looking at it going, how did a storm do this? Like, how could it do it so precise?
It's those crazy sharks, man.
That's how those things are. Yeah, they're
sharp teeth.
Well, my mom, when it went in our backyard and took the tree out, my mom actually took me outside because she wanted me to see it and hear the noise, because she had been through a number of them, I guess, in her life, and she was like, "Oh, if you know what you're doing, they're not harmful. You'll just come out here and watch this thing. It's a phenomenon." And
film it like this, you're okay.
Yeah, and so it sounds crazy today, but she knew where it was going to go. She said she could tell, and it sure enough went the way she said it was going to go. I don't know.
Yeah, growing up in Ontario, like, we never had storm celars and those kind of emergency dungeons or places you can go with those big shutters.
Yeah, we had one of those.
Your cans of corn and candles down there just in case. That's because we don't have that kind of weather pattern, really, right? Like, it does happen, but it's very common, and like
we had that exact
common in Chicago or in Illinois and Iowa. But I mean, there's certain areas that what they call Tornado Alley or something, right?
It's very rare for tornadoes to hit around where I'm at, close to Chicago. Yeah. It's just a tornado warning. They can still happen, but it's.
I lived in New York, and it was rare up there too, but they did hit once in a while.
Yeah.
I saw.
We had those exact doors, those ones on an angle that you go down into the shelter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you see in in Cloverfield and crap, or what was it? Cloverfield Lane or whatever where they had
that was cool, yeah.
Those shutter doors,
Yeah, I know. I looked on YouTube at some live videos an hour ago when Eric was saying about the weather there, and there's like 10 different channels. They're like storm chaser guys, right? Like 1,000 watching this guy, 300 watching this guy, and there's one with this guy and his son just driving, and it's all cutting out because of lightning and thunder, and I'm like, really? Like, that's your hobby? Like.
Well, have you seen the dude with the armor-plated truck that he put all the stuff on? And it actually lowers so that he can wedge the things into the ground, and so that he can get right up to the storm and lower the truck so that it doesn't have any lift under it. And he can.
This guy with the bubble on the top.
I don't know if it has a bubble or something, but he's got a way to look at it. It's pretty much storm-proof. He can sit right through it, almost take a direct hit, and.
Welcome, Gerard.
It's an amazing vehicle. I've seen
Orlando, Lobot, sir. Hopefully everyone's at least seen the Mando show and the Bad Batch season finale. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they've officially announced the next season or 2 more seasons or anything like that, but it stands that it looks like there's going to be at least one.
It has to have another season, yeah.
At least one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, kind of a weird ending that they would leave open for those answers to come in another show, whether it be a cartoon or live action.
No, I think Bad Batch is coming back.
I think that's one of the main panels for Star Wars Celebration Europe next week.
Yeah, which I don't think any of us are going, right?
No.
Unfortunately. Yeah, I still get emails every day with updated airfares to London and to Nashville. The London ones are going up. The Nashville ones are coming down, surprisingly. I don't know.
Well, you know what happened.
Have something to do with it, but tickets are going down for Nashville. But
I'm sure it has something to do with the recent events in Nashville.
Unfortunate, but I still won't be going to the ICC either. Just just thousands of dollars I don't really have to throw around at visiting Dollywood and playing with toys and stuff. I would love to do it. I'm going to go to a toy show tomorrow. Couple bucks in my pocket. Hopefully, I don't blow any holes in my pocket and lose my, my spending money. But, I'll look for some vintage stuff, and I'll probably get sucked into paying $35 for an Indiana Jones retro figure or something. Can't leave these toy shows empty-handed, it seems like. But I'll try and get some cool video and pictures and stuff. I always kill my battery on my iPhone when I go to these shows because I'm trying to take, like 40 minutes of HD, high quality 4K video on my 8-year-old iPhone, and it doesn't work. Can't do that.
You're looking for the new indie retro stuff or like vintage from the 80s?
Well, both. The new ones are cheaper.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are like $20 in Canada. I picked up a couple of indies because he kind of came out first, and then the first wave has 4 more figures, which are re-releases. I don't have any of those in vintage form. Like I would collect them if they were, my price range kind of thing. But I will collect the repro ones first off, just to have them carded. They're really good carded figures. I don't know where mine is. I put it up on a shelf.
Didn't Hasbro decrease the price of those?
They did lower them, yeah.
And I think even Targets did too, because I saw on Dino's toy hunt videos, he picked up a couple, and it's like was $15 now, $12.
Yeah. But were you amazed at the like people often complain about the fragility of the card back on Hasbro Star Wars products, but could you that Indiana Jones card back is essentially a piece of paper. It's not even cardboard.
It's the same as the retro Star Wars.
Oh no, it's thinner than that.
And they're definitely not consistent because the Marvel ones are nice and thick, and the Vintage Collection are nice and thick again. But I've seen today, John, people post on Instagram finding Indiana Jones like for a second time and buying them because the card is thick now. So now they're coming out with thicker card backs. So maybe they just, had a bad batch of paper, end of the roll, whatever. So I guess they're working on it. But if they made them like a year ago, much in advance,
the ones that I got, they're
welcome, Captain Spaulding.
They're quite literally a piece of paper.
Oh,
it's not even. Yeah. It's not even like. I mean, it's.
Oof.
It's not even like a. You know what I mean? You can do this and they flop around. It's like. I'm like, I can't believe how thin these are. This is like. It's way thinner than any of the previous card backs they've made,
So since, you have a couple of Targets or, I think that tends to be the main one, and Target's getting an exclusive wave 2 of new figures that I'll have to try and hunt down here in Canada at Toys R Us and internet and whatnot. So wish me luck. But I would keep an eye out for, second batches coming out with thicker cards.
I'll have to look. If they're thicker cards, then
I think these are going to be plentiful. Good. Like I don't think they're going to be scalped I think there's going to be lots of them. Let's put it that way.
They're all on Pulse still.
Yeah, and they're on Amazon.
Sold out on Amazon or nothing.
Yeah, so they're on Amazon.
I think
the
property. They'll
I had two, but I do have two Targets in my area that are doing something fishy because they're in the back room, and I know these managers, I know these people because I've been going to their store for Lego for 3 or 4 years now, and every time there's something new that's a toy, they stash it in the back room and say it's not for sale. And then if it goes up on eBay, if it goes like back when the COVID stuff was going on, back when we were on lockdown, and they were like Boba Fett's were going up to $50-$60, and like whatever clone trooper came out was going up. Like they would have a stack of them in the back room and say they're not for sale. And then they were selling them online for the $50-$60. The managers were scalping them. You know what I mean? Yeah. And, and I know that's what they're doing with these because I have I can pick out a scan gun. I can take one of their guns from the store and I scan them and they're already taken out of the system, even though there's a stack of them in the back room in the stash pile. And it's in the same spot where they used to stash the clone troopers and the Boba Fett's and all the stuff that they were scalping during the thing. And so it's like, and I asked him, I was like, can I get one each of these? I just want one of each one. And they were like, no, because they're no longer, you just can't have them. No, we're not selling those, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I know what they're doing. They're waiting to see if they go up on eBay. If they go up, they're all going to be gone because they'll take them and put them up on eBay. And if they don't go up, next week they'll all be out on the shelf. I guarantee it. They'll re-enter them into the system and put them out on the shelf for sale at regular price.
So if anyone works for Target corporate, start auditing your stores.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I already complained.
That man's watching all the storms, so he'll keep us updated. He'll tell you, Eric, before the government tells you. Welcome, Peter.
I actually complained once about the stores.
Brian,
and
how you doing, buddy?
When you call them, they go, "We can't do anything unless you have absolute proof that they're doing it. You have to actually catch them in the act of posting it on eBay and blah blah blah. Like you can't. It's just my word against theirs. It's hearsay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, picture of that red shirt with that bullseye.
Yeah, and him. You have to actually videotape him loading it onto eBay or something.
I went to my Walmart this morning to get like 3 or 4 different things. I go there on a very regular basis. The fruit section, like the fresh food section, was closed off, and it just had sign that said temporary closed. Okay, and then of course I had to go check the toy section. This section's closed, taped off.
What?
Yeah, and I'm like, what the hell, man? The 2 of the sections I wanted to look in, and then another section I went to, like it was like dairy product and eggs and stuff. Yeah, it was closed off too. So I don't know if it's just some delayed inventory, shock audit or whatever, or if they're hunting a rat. I really don't know. And then I went back this afternoon and it was all open again. But yeah, it was weird. Strange. I've never seen anything like that before. Like where they close, except for pandemic. I heard they did close down some sections that were, non-essential items. I don't know. You can only buy soap and toilet paper.
No, I remember seeing videos like that of grocery stores and other stores that had like sections covered off and like products like covered in plastic and whatnot. So you
don't need toys right now. Yeah, we didn't have it that bad. We had the lineups and stuff like that, but that was about.
I think a lot of that stuff that I saw was in the UK that they were real strict about doing.
Is that right?
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like now we got a celebration next week, so I really don't know. I think they've lightened all the, pandemic-y restrictions and whatnot, even for flying, from North America to there. I really don't know. I never looked into it, but.
Yeah, I don't know if they're requiring masks at the venue like the Anaheim Convention Center did last year.
Yeah, I think it's a little different. I think hopefully that's back to normal and for the all future events and things, right?
Yeah,
I don't think it'll be as busy as as California one will be? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people in Europe and surrounding areas that will make the venture. Yeah. Some will drive, take a train, or fly, depending how far they are. But I mean, to come from North America, that's dropping thousands of dollars just on airfare alone.
There's a lot more people going than I would have thought. I mean,
I know a few people, not a lot, just a few.
Most of the club I was in Seattle are going. I was like, there's like a good 100 people from Seattle in that club going.
Well, aren't many of them like owners of Amazon as well? Like
no, they're not. I mean, they own their own houses. They're doing okay, but I mean, they're not like super rich, a lot of those guys.
Would have been fun. It's just like to cough up that much money to go.
Yeah, I can't.
For a convention. The convention center, like, I don't know for a fact, but it just doesn't seem like it's quite as big. So I'm not sure it'll house quite as much as like the ones in the US. But I haven't been over to the Excel Center or whatever it is.
Every time I've gone to something that big, like Star Wars Celebration, or you go to San Diego or something like that, you go to something that huge, I always end up spending at least $500 or $600, and sometimes close to $1,000 just on merchandise, just on stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? Food and things. So it's not just like people go, oh, the airfare, you could get it for less than $1,000, and I'm like, yeah, and then hotel's only a couple $100. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah, per night.
They're like, you could do it for less than $2,000, John. There's no problem. And I'm going, yeah, but you're not including. I have to buy stuff.
All the $20 hamburgers and $10 beers.
I can't go there and not get anything. I have to get something, and
the convention merch this year looks pretty cool too. They've got some pretty nifty things.
Yeah, I saw like an Ewok Village snow globe-y looking thing that I'm like, hey, that looks cool just because it looks Kenner. I don't like the logoed merch like at all.
No, I usually don't do that
just
stuff either.
The green or the blue or the red or whatever the celebration logo color is that year.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of reusing the same freaking logo over and over. Like the Super Bowl and the Grey Cup and Stanley Cup used to do, and they kind of do it again now. Make a new logo every year, employ graphic designers, for God's sake.
They've got some Andor merch with they got like a long sleeve that kind of looks like the prison jumper.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, the white one.
Yeah,
white and orange. Yeah, and that's from my experience in Chicago. Like, if there was one thing at the whole convention that had a lineup for the first, 3 of the 4 days,
convention store
was the convention merch store.
That was
cool.
That was crazy.
I did not even go. Like, I went the 4th day when there was no lineup.
Yeah,
and
me
basically
too.
all the cool shit was sold out. It's just empty.
Do you know why it was? Do you know why that line? I waited in that line for 9 hours to get in. Yeah. Do you know why it was that long though? It was because their
organizing.
It was because their point of sale system kept crashing. So they only had so many. They only had so many of those like iPads, and they were scanning things. And like there, when I finally got in there was like a scalper. Like the guy was definitely a scalper. He had like dozens of each product in different sizes, and the people would be scanning like one at a time. And when it crashed, they had to start all over again, and it did that like several times, and that was 100. There were like network issues, and the software that they were using for the point of sale just kept shitting the bed.
Yeah, that's lame. You can't have that. Like, you set that shit up a week in advance. You test it.
Well, the problem is that a lot of convention centers were not built for Wi-Fi to work, and I remember doing tons of, like, as a seller myself, selling stuff at like Emerald City Comic Con or various other conventions. If you're in the convention center in Seattle, you can't get I had the Google one, I had the Apple one that you could swipe your cards, and I had the Squarespace one, Square or whatever, and none of them would work because the connection inside the building, there's so much concrete and I don't know, metal bars, whatever it is that they've used to build those things, that it just made the signal go to nothing. And you can't even tweet. You can't even put up like if you put a picture in your Twitter, it'll sit there forever. You have to go out in the lobby to get it to go.
I think they're getting better. I think a lot of these like shopping centers and schools and airports and convention centers, they upgrade that shit every year, right? Like every couple of years, like even if you don't ask, your internet provider is making a new modem that's twice as fast as the modem that you've been renting from them for 10 years. Like they might not.
What they got to do is
they do come out with new product like every year, like Apple, like iPhones.
Yeah.
But what they got to do is they have to install an actual like sender receiver inside the building. Because if they rely on the one outside, if they rely on the one that's outside on the pole, it doesn't send the waves through the building. You know?
They should design them to look like little mouse droids.
Yeah, exactly.
Just run around everywhere, right? Conventions, stadiums. So I don't have any slideshows or nothing, so we can just talk a little bit about the Mando show, and then we can end off with some Bad Batch stuff. But
sweet.
I absolutely love
5 or
this
6 episodes into the Mando show. Like I think we're kind of halfway, or
more. We're just over the halfway mark. This was 5 of 8. Yeah.
So we do have 3 left. So no super duper big reveals and new Luke Skywalker moments or stuff like that. But up until most recently, we do get Zeb. We get the live action Zeb, and my first watching, I'm like, okay, it's Zeb. I recognize the actor's voice.
Yeah.
Stephen Bloom, right? I think that's his name.
Steve Blum.
And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, okay, the graphics are okay. And I went on, I watched the episode, I thoroughly enjoyed it. But on a rewatch the next day, I really did. The graphics were actually really good. Like, first time I didn't think so. I thought, oh, no, it's CGI. Really? Then the second time, I'm like, oh, wow, that's good CGI. Like his eye and his, like dimples and the beard. As a bearded guy, I really noticed the beard. On the second time, I'm like, hey, wait, he's got a cool beard.
I honestly thought it was a combination of practical effects.
I think it was a man. CG. I think it was a man in a costume. Yeah.
The
face.
Yeah. So I think I saw on Twitter. I don't know if it was joking or whatnot, but like I think Paul Sun-Hyung Lee, the guy who plays Captain Carson Teva, said that it was. I'm not sure if it was Steve Blum himself doing the mocap, but he said it was mocap. I was genuinely surprised. I was genuinely surprised because it was so good. I thought it could have been like a practical effect, kind of like the Cad Bane mask and whatnot.
Well, the Cad Bane was a practical mask, and I think maybe they CGI
the eyes
or something, right? Like, but of this one, I believe it was fully computer animated face or head, but they would have put the dots maybe on Stephen Blum's face to get his eyeballs and
the details were really good. But I see Linda in the chat caught something that on first watch I did look and see, like, did they mess up Zeb's legs because it didn't look like
they showed them from what I saw.
There was like one take. There was one take at the end when Captain Carson Teva is walking away from Zeb, where you see his legs, and I didn't get the best of look, but I had the same impression that Linda had, that they didn't do like the Lasat legs where it's kind of like a horse or like animal.
Well, it bent the other direction.
The other way.
Yeah, the knees bent the other direction. When he walked over, his knees were bent the other direction. They weren't just the legs. Because I noticed it. I was like, oh, they even got the legs going backwards, like his go backwards.
Let's see if I can pull up a picture.
Yeah, I'm looking now.
My question on it all was like, how and why did he come back from that planet he was hiding on with his people and Agent Callus? Like,
Well, it's the bar. It's the local watering hole. You know, like I don't know how else more to explain it. There's something new to us. Like we're going to learn more about that place where Carson went to hang out there because I guess messages weren't getting through. They said like they're not taking phone calls, so he flies right to fucking not Kevin Nealon, dude from Saturday Night Live.
Tim Meadows.
Tim Meadows.
The lady fan.
So yeah, that totally took me out of the Star Wars universe for a quick minute. I'm like, oh my god, it's Tim frickin' Meadows and his, his fancy drink, and his afro wig from his SNL skit or whatever. Like, it took me out of Star Wars for a minute, but hey, you know what? It is what it is, and I appreciate him as an actor, comedian. So it was pretty cool.
Tim Meadows,
he was wearing the classic Purina patch on his outfit. I thought was pretty cool too. But Zeb was big. So, however they made his legs look, he was still like Chewbacca-esque in scale and looked really big compared to Paul as well, right? Like,
I thought he should have been a little broader, though, but I don't know. I guess it was just...
And his arms, too. Like, he had Popeye arms, right?
But I liked it. I thought it was great. I watched everything back to back. I watched Bad Batch and Mando back to back. And between the two, I was like, oh my gosh, we got Tarkin, we got Director Krennic, we got Zeb, we got, I was just like, I was in like, character overload by the end of the two things,
So Zeb was, I guess, my big, 2000s flashback cameo Easter egg.
Yep.
But also he's a character that we know was due his debut because we have to assume he's going to be part of the Ahsoka show, and that's somewhat of a continuation of the Clone Wars Rebels cartoons with those living characters. Right?
I actually didn't expect to see Zeb at all because at the end of Rebels they said that Zeb went to the planet on the other side of that gravity well or whatever.
Well, he was hanging out with that pork chop sideburns guy
with Callus.
Callus. Yeah.
So
they were like buddy.
I thought that meant that Zeb was going to stay there and rebuild his society with those people, and Callus was adopted by their society. You know what I mean?
People see that Callus character too. Like he seems like he's important enough that they were going to.
So my whole question,
pork chops.
My whole thing from seeing Zeb was, what became so important that Zeb would leave the rebuilding of his people to come back? You know what I mean? Like when he didn't come back during the rebellion, when they were fighting the Empire. So this has to be even more important than battling the Empire. You know what I mean? Like what made him come back that's so important that he would give up
it for sure was
his society,
It was for sure Zeb in the credits, and the voice was
Steve Blum.
Stephen Blum.
And they said that the only ones who went to look for Ezra was Ahsoka and Sabine. You know what I mean? They were like, Sabine was like, Ahsoka stopped by and they show Ahsoka landing and Sabine walks off with Ahsoka. So it's like, that's why in the Ahsoka show, we expect to see Sabine because she said she directly went with Ahsoka to find Ezra.
I think they showed Sabine in that Ahsoka trailer that they still haven't shown the public
and yet. They showed Hera too, so we're going to see Hera.
Back to her head as well, right?
Yeah.
And we've already seen Chopper in the live action sequel movies. So yeah, interesting. Like of all the Mando shows, this season, that was the coolest little cameo of a new character. On not
it wasn't the coolest character.
But in the cartoon we got a few new ones as well.
I mean, the coolest character was when we got to see Babu John again.
We got to see Babu John again with his two little brothers. Yeah. So I'm assuming they're still building they're working on IG.
Yeah, they are. They got to be, right? Yeah.
Big project.
So, you know what? In that bar scene, there was also Dave Filoni, Rick Famuyiwa, and Deborah Chow.
And Deborah Chow, yeah.
But
so they had all the directors. Rick Fujiyama. I'm sorry if I butcher it. Yeah. So his legs are kind of messed up. He's definitely got the toes.
Yeah.
Well, I think I was wrong, and they actually, you do have the kind of like animal like hoof type situation. So
it's just not as pronounced. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You just have to really zoom in on it. They weren't really focused, but they it looks like they did do it right. It's just like watching it real time, unless you zoom in like that.
And the only other ships at that Rebel pub they were all Y-wings.
Y-wings and X-wings. I want B-wings. I need B-wings.
I want them all.
Yeah.
But we got a little cameo of the Imperial shuttle Tidarian, not Tidarian, but that
Lambda class.
Lambda class.
Yeah, Lambda.
So now we gotta. They're making it seem like some type of Mandalorians took him because there's a little piece of Beskar stuck on a wall.
Oh yeah,
that's the distraction.
No, it's the Imperial Remnant guys. You remember the other half of Sabine's family wanted to work for the Empire. Remember?
Yeah, I think it's
and that other clan did. They directly went to work for the Empire.
You know what? It's probably more possible that it was what you said, John. But my initial reaction was more. It was a plant to distract the New Republic to make it think that it was the Mandalorians versus it being the like Mandalorian sect that was aiding the Empire.
Okay, so you ready? You ready? The people that took Moff Gideon were, what's his name? The Wolf Mando guy and the Wrestling Mando chick, and the other night owls that we haven't seen since
Axe Woves and
Sasha Banks, the Mando. They took
Reeves.
Moff Gideon because they're bad now. They're bad Mandos, and now Bo-Katan is going. The only Mandos she knows are those bad Mandos that are no longer associated with her, right? Because she said she's left alone on.
Yeah, they left her. They abandoned her.
So I think Axe Woves and Sasha Banks they have something to do with freeing Moff Gideon, and we'll see more about that because there's lots of, not spoilers, but rumors and theories about Moff Gideon and him being some type of Mando and him getting some kind of Mando helmet or uniform, special troopers and all, right?
Giancarlo Esposito said in an interview that he gets kitted out and has some upgraded armor and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I really want
more like, does he have any mojo in him? Like when I say mojo, like force juice, like Omega and
force juice.
What makes him more powerful than like Stormtrooper like 1122? Like he's just.
I don't think anything.
He was ever a general or a.
No, because he was a Moff. Yeah, that's all it is. It
just seems
he's got the confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, because with the Mandos, like they got some kind of, mojo as well. Like they got Mando juice.
Yeah.
It's not really a thing, but it is a thing because, they're all like inbred in a way. Like they're all the same culture and people and similar beliefs and, without using the word religion, it is a type of, a clan. They call it a clan, right?
Yeah, they call it clans, and they mention unite the tribes and whatnot.
So that's what I'm wondering now, because how this show kind of ended. The Armorer, who I think is kind of hiding something, and she had.
I fully expected her helmet to come off.
I thought she was going to take her helmet off, and
I was pounding my fist like, "Pull off your helmet! Pull off your helmet!"
And we were all going to be like, "Oh my gosh, it's so and so!" like.
Well, I was going to be like, "One of my theories was correct."
Yeah, right.
But I still think either her or her lover. I believe her lover is Heavy Mando. I think they're knocking boots. We'll have their helmets removed eventually. But yeah, who are the Mandos going to fight now if it's not actual Imperials? I don't think we're going to see any more pirates. Even though the rumors are these pirates will be in the Skeleton Crew show, which is cool because now after seeing the pirates a second time, now I like them. It brought me right back into that Return of the Jedi era.
Oh yeah,
little Ugnaught with a
Randall. Oh, I love the Ugnaught. The
Mr. Yeah, it was like Mr. Smee.
There was like Goat Head guy was like driving the ship at one time, like, tusks and stuff. So all these cool practical costumes, like Return of the Jedi style, and then the captain guy, Captain Greenbeard. After I learned who the actor was who was portraying him, I'm like, oh my! I see him. Like I see the actor. In
you can hear him
seaweed stuff, and I'm like, I love this character now. He did this hologram with Master Grief Karga now, the royal serpent guy, or whatever now. But it was big, and I'm like, whoa! He's Jabba-esque. So a lot of it did give me Return of the Jedi vibes. Yeah. So I dig that pirate crew now. Like the way they were talking in their ships, like, "Oh, look at you, Mando!" Like, it was kind of that '80s, B movie.
And I love that the Nikto guy, like the Nikto guy, like escaped. He's like, "Oh, sorry, I've changed. I changed my mind. I'm out of here.
I'm out of here.
It's time we part ways."
Yeah,
one ship left. Okay, I'm out of here.
See him again. I hope we see him again someday.
He's like,
I'm sure we'll see them again. Like they're.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
we'll see other pirates that we've seen in the cartoons as well.
Yeah, so, that guy Vane is kind of like the Starscream of the group.
Yeah.
Like who's the animatronic pirate guy at Galaxy's Edge with the little monkey lizard?
Oh, Hondo Onaka.
Yeah. He's got a great character voice.
Oh, I love Hondo.
He doesn't just sound like a regular human like the other guys kind of did. So I want to see him.
My friends.
Hondo Onaka.
Yeah, they have great voices. Like they're made for cartoons, but as we saw, Bane translated really awesome. I think in live action, not just in his costume, but the way the voice, the same cartoon character voice, came out. And Zeb, I thought was very, very much the same. But it took me a second watch to appreciate Zeb and the CGI that went into it, because it's definitely
they did a good
higher budget CGI than we've seen. Like,
but that's a good sign for Zeb and more of the Rebels. I mean, I think we all saw. We know Sabine's in Ahsoka, and we saw the back of Hera in the preview and whatnot. But we didn't.
Well, you did, maybe.
Well, I did at Celebration, but
I saw that image though.
Yeah, but I mean, images were floating around the internet, but weren't necessarily sure about Zeb showing up because he went off with Callus and whatnot. But for a fact that they weren't we're going to see more Zeb because they wouldn't invest in doing all of that work for a short cameo in The Mandalorian. They're going to reuse all those assets. And
look how many minutes Luke got overall, right? And maybe
Luke's different though.
3 or 4 episodes.
Luke's different. You can make the case for a Luke Skywalker cameo to invest all that even if it's just a one-off little thing. But with all due respect, I love Zeb, but like for a character like Zeb, like you have to plan on like using that a bunch. Otherwise, you're just going to be bleeding cash.
Yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of all those cartoons characters. I like Zeb. I'm a big, bulky, freaking. I like Zeb.
I almost wonder if it was
Wrecker is like the human version of Zeb, like smashing heads together and like just a big bulky guy. And I love those characters. So I hope we see Wrecker in live action and he doesn't perish in his damn cartoon like one of his brothers did.
No, I think they're all toast.
Love them.
I almost wonder
actors who's I'd like to meet, like not Ashley Eckstein, but like Stephen Bloom and whoever voices Wrecker. Well,
D. Bradley Baker.
Yeah, D. Bradley does all of the Clone Wars, right? I want to meet him because he does that cool character, right?
Yeah.
D. Bradley Baker does it all. Like he switches on a dime. At Celebration, he and Michelle Ang, who does the voice for Omega, they did a reading of part of the Bad Batch script, like in front of us, and D. Bradley Baker was going in and out of characters.
That's amazing, man.
Like without flinching. It was just.
Doesn't he do the droids too?
No, that's Matthew Wood.
Matthew Wood does all the droids.
Isn't it?
He's Grievous, but
no, maybe. God, hold on. I think
he does lots of voices, like the clone guy.
I thought he did the little battle droids. I thought that was Baker as well. But
I got a buddy here in Vancouver. Grant is his name. He does voices for video games and commercials and cartoons and stuff. And the guy can just, whether it's an imitation of a voice, like, you know, or an existing voice, or a new character voice, he can just go from one to one to one to one to another. And that's their life. Like, that's their career, and that's what they do, and they're so good at it.
Yeah, it is Matthew Wood that does the voice of the droid.
I still think we're going to see. So the rumors for the Ahsoka show, just this is a quick segment, is I think half the season. Rumor is like flashback. So, you know, few years younger, if not more, 10 years younger, young Ahsoka, stuff like that. And then the second half is current day Mandoverse era, like we've already seen her with Luke. So I think in the first half, I'm assuming we'll see her meet Luke, because we haven't seen that in any kind of form, whether it be cartoon or live action. I don't know about books, but for those two medias, we haven't seen those two officially meet. So if they did years ago, I'm thinking we'll see a younger Ahsoka played by Ashley Eckstein in the live action. I can't see why they wouldn't do it. I said this 4 years ago when Boba Fett was announced. They're making a Boba Fett show. I'm like, guaranteed they're going to have Daniel Logan as a 25-year-old version of Boba Fett at some point, and they haven't yet. And I'm like, how have they not? Yeah. Like, of all the cameos and Easter eggs, and this guy is alive still. Like,
it's weird that he hasn't been in it at all. Yeah, it is
because
weird.
We saw Ahmed Best come back. I'm like,
oh, that was awesome, dude. That was great.
10 people right now you can grab and throw into this, and I don't care who complains. I don't care how many YouTube channels make a video. Oh, I hated when they brought Daniel Logan in, or when they brought
I'll tell you,
Daniels back as an alien, or like, bring them all, man. If they're all still breathing,
I met Daniel Logan.
Autographs.
I actually feel bad for Daniel Logan, because I met him at one of the conventions and was supposed to do a half-hour interview with him for my podcast. Mm-hmm. And the publicist said he couldn't do it because there was something they were working on, and the studio that he was working with shut it down. So I was prepared to leave, but I was the only one that was talking to him at the whole convention. Like, everybody standing next to him had 1,000 people in line, and he literally had 0. And he went, well, I was supposed to give you a half hour, so don't leave. Let's go have a drink. So we left his table and went and got a drink and just sat down and chatted like two old buddies for a half hour. Even though I couldn't record anything, we just sat there and chatted about stuff. And he wants so bad to come back to Star Wars and do something, but the fans don't like. He says it's like this at every show. He gets 2 or 3 fans that come up and get autographs, when people next to him have lines of thousands of people. He's like, the fans don't like Daniel Logan. He doesn't know why, but they don't.
So I was at the I'm not trying to bring it up again, but at Celebration at Celebration last year, I was at the 20th anniversary panel for Attack of the Clones, and Daniel Logan and Temuera Morrison were sat next to each other, and most of the panel, I'm not sure if it's on YouTube and able to watch on record, but if it is, go watch it, because those two talking back and forth, they need to be in a buddy cop show.
Yeah, it was
great. Now they need, like, Lucasfilm needs to, like, make up some show where it's just them.
Yeah,
like them.
And you know what? They might already be on shows in Australia, and we just don't know about them.
Yeah.
So if any of you in the chat, they're on this weekly show all the time. Because I watched a really bad movie on Netflix 2 days ago. I'm like, oh, what's this? Okay, it's aliens. Whatever, man. Let's watch it. Puffed it back, put it on. 10 minutes in, oh, there's Tamora Morrison.
Yeah.
No, I'm watching this really,
This
really,
got
really
10 times
badly
better.
made alien invasion on Earth show. Like, it's
I
weird
think I
because in
watched
Australia, the aliens only invade, like on their Australian-made movies, the aliens always invade Australia, right? But like in America, when they make movies about aliens invading, they invade America, like
New York and LA.
They leave Australia alone. And then there's that really big movie where they invade everywhere in the world at the same time, which is more logical. But
it doesn't look like he's done much.
Soap operas, candy commercials, you name it, right?
It doesn't look like Daniel Logan's done much with his acting career.
Okay.
Since he's been in a few things here and there, but yeah, I would watch a movie or TV series of those two together instantly, just based on the chemistry between them that I saw on the Attack of the Clones 20th panel last year.
That's cool. Yeah, I myself, I met Daniel Logan much like Super John 6-7 years ago here at the Vancouver Fan Expo. He was 19 years old or something at the time. He was young, right? And there was no big, huge lineups. Like, sure, there was people there to see him. There's always Star Wars fans at these things, but maybe there's also a bunch of older fans that want to go see, Batman, or Stan Lee was also there. So Stan Lee was the headliner. Daniel Logan was not the main person to go see. So there's no lineup. I paid my $40, whatever it was, and
there's like a few people
behind me. So I'm like, here's some stickers I made. Here's a Boba Fett helmet. Here's this and that. This is a long time ago before I drew any of the stuff I do now. And we chatted and for a good 10, 15 minutes we just chatted. And
he's an awesome guy. I think he's fantastic.
He likes riding motorbikes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And training with karate and all this stuff. And he was just a kid, right? Like, I'm in my 30s at the time, or early 40s, and he's just a teen. Now he's a father. Now I know he's got at least one kid.
Yeah.
And I think he kind of makes a little bit of a living off
the convention
being a younger Boba Fett. So I don't think he's doing too bad for himself for what he went through, right? Yeah. So talking about these younger, like, now we need to bring back Lloyd Alexander in one of the shows, like the young Anakin.
Yeah. Jake Lloyd,
sorry. Yeah. Why not, man? I'm sure he could use a paycheck. I don't know. Everyone can always use a paycheck. But yeah,
like, I always feel bad for Star Trek
through some turmoil.
Star Trek's Aaron Eisenberg too, because a lot of people don't like the character of Nog that he played in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and they throw that onto the actor, and it's like, but Aaron Eisenberg is a great person. He's an awesome guy, and people don't give.
Well, I'm sure Ashley Eckstein is an awesome, super sweet, beautiful, loving, woman and mother and sister and daughter. But I hate her fucking character. I just hate her character. But I'm not the majority. I know that. I'm in the minority. I'm like the president of the Ahsoka hate club.
Are you going to watch Ahsoka? Are you going to watch it?
Absolutely, dude. And I'll do the Ahsoka after show. It's in the Mandoverse. So it's part of the Mando.
I just hope that show, like, I have a sick feeling that my expectation for that show is not going to be met. Like, I think my head right now is they're going to go do what they said they were going to do at the end of Rebels, and that is go find Ezra Bridger and by default find Thrawn. So in my head, I have this expectation that maybe it'll be a journey, but then in the final episode of
that'll
season
be the cliffhanger.
We see Ezra and we see Thrawn. You know what I mean? And it can be like the last episode, but my expectation is that at some point. My expectation is
flashback. I don't know, because every series they tend to storytell in a new way again. Let's reinvent storytelling and go have flashback to tanks, and whenever there's a hammer, let's have another flashback. So they're experimenting, which is cool.
I just have a feeling
live on for a couple of series,
Yeah,
like
I just have this strange feeling. Yeah, I just have this strange feeling that number one, half the season isn't even going to have Ahsoka in it. That's what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to have 4 or 5 episodes where Ahsoka's not even in the Ahsoka show. It's going to be stuff going to. It's going to be set up for what happens later on that they got to get through that didn't even have her in it. You know what I mean? Like
I'd be surprised that they do that, especially after like. I'd be surprised if they deviated from core Ahsoka.
Because, like in Boba Fett, they had a few episodes that Boba Fett wasn't even in it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Lucasfilm has heard the concerns with that, and although there's always a possibility that they do that to try and draw people in to watch Ahsoka if Mando's there, right? I mean, that was how they tried to build the episode of Book of Boba Fett with Mando, right? Trying to draw viewership in and get people hooked to the larger story.
Well, the reason why the Mando showed up in the Book of Boba Fett because it's all the same fucking show, and I wish people would say how much they liked one show and not the other show, and how much the Ahsoka is going to be so much better. They're all the same show, written by the same guy, directed by the same 5 directors, with a couple of other directors sprinkled in here and there. They're all the same, man. They're all made in the same fucking box studio. Yeah. What I'm really hoping for in Ahsoka is they're going high budget like they've done for the Mando show. And like they showed us they can do in the Andor series is we can go to locations and film. Yeah. We don't have to all computer blue screen and stagecraft all the stuff. We don't have to all have CGI characters like all the clone troopers. Yeah. So I really think Ahsoka is going to take. They've learned. They've got 7 years now making these shows, 5 years plus making these shows. They know what looks good and what doesn't hold up so well. Like even now, the Kenobi show, it doesn't hold up as well. It's not as high budget as Andor.
I like Kenobi show.
Generic backgrounds, and
I love it so much. I love it all, and I'm probably the easiest Star Wars fan to please because anything they do, I'm just ready to consume it. I'm trying to not go in with expectations. I have like theories and whatnot of what they'll do, but like I'm just excited to be along for the ride,
It's like chicken fingers. I really love chicken fingers. So you can give me a plate of chicken fingers with 10 different sauces in them. I'll try them all. Some of them I might not like. Like I might not like the honey mustard one, but I'm still going to eat it. So that's kind of like how I see the Star Wars. The cartoons are like the honey mustard
dipping sauces.
But it still feeds me and gives me substance. And
But
I really look forward to seeing what other cool characters the Ahsoka show can bring us. Yeah, whether it's just Thrawn and Ezra, but I mean, there's got to be other new stormtrooper armors and lizard creatures for Mandalorians to ride and flying.
I really want
whatever. Just got to be more cool stuff that they haven't showed us yet. More Kenner toys.
I want more Captain Carson Teva. I want more.
Yeah. I was actually hoping he would go with the Mandalorian
because it made me. That episode reminded me a lot of the later Clone Wars cartoons, serialized, if that's the word I'm looking for. Like, say at the beginning, they got the narrator telling a little story, and then some music, and then they jump into a scene. So, but the Carson Teva thing, because I know him as a 90s
Canadian
sitcom actor, I kind of got that vibe out of it. Like, just, this is like a scene from a sitcom, and look, there's an alien in the background, and there's a mouse droid, and so I really appreciate him in the Star Wars universe. I think he works perfectly, man.
Yeah,
the pride of Canada.
He looks great. He looks great in the X-wing helmet.
I fully expected him to like when he landed on the Mando planet, and he was talking to them about like going to help Karga. I fully expected him to say something like, I was told I cannot help, but screw the directive. I'm coming with you. And to just see his X-Wing fly in. And,
he didn't go help with them. But
S-foils into attack position.
Yeah.
Everyone recalls how Carson said he found Mando.
Yeah, from R5D4 told him.
Yeah, a tracker and the original R5D4 droid.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I want that jacket. I want that bomber jacket with the Rancor patch.
Rancor patch
cool.
was cool. I had to zoom in on that.
But I just grew to like it's same way I guess I grew to like I feel like I grew up with Ahsoka growing up. Like I did not like Ahsoka in the first season at all. I actually questioned why they invented the character, because they nowhere else had anyone ever mentioned that Vader had an apprentice. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like
Ahsoka's being every day.
Yeah, so I was like in that camp, but as I watched the series, like my friends Derek and Daryl and I got together every single week to watch the new episode as it came out. You know, that was a weekly ritual for 8 seasons or whatever long this thing went. You know what I mean? Like, I guess it was 6 in the beginning, but we were getting together. Yeah. We were getting together every single week to watch that show and we had dinner. We would sit down. It was like a big thing. We had dinner, drinks, and that went on for 6 years of our life. You know what I mean?
Yes. And Orlando's
so I grew up by the end, and by the end of it, we were all like, Ahsoka's one of the best characters they ever made. And it was the same with Ezra, because we went right into Rebels, and in the beginning, we were kind of like, I don't know about Ezra, blah, blah, blah. You know, why do they keep doing these kids? Blah, 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 you know, but by the end, Ezra became one of my favorite characters. I liked him so much by the end of Rebels.
I like Ezra's attitude.
And I'm dying to see him in this Ahsoka show. So it's kind of like, I feel like if I don't see him, I'll be let down. I'll just be like, I want to know what happened to Ezra. And I feel like the Ahsoka show is the perfect place to do that.
I don't think Ezra's going to be, I'm going to picture him the way I did in the cartoon, because he's not, if the actor is who the rumors are, the actor is who's going to play him, he's not a kid anymore. Like
no, he would be an adult. Yeah. No,
he's like got a beard, you know. Like he's young. He's gone through puberty, so to speak.
Yeah.
In the cartoon, I never saw that. I always saw him as a youth, not Omega young, but Omega young, like playing with dolls and whatnot. But
it's like 16 or whatever in the show, kind of that kind of age.
So Rolando makes a good point. None of these Mandos, except Bo-Katan and Din Djarin, have ships. So how do they go to all these different places back and forth? Like, how was the armor on that one planet with the Ford and Heavy Mando?
Where was their ship? They took one of those. They took one of those Starlighters. You know, they all got tickets, and they put all their weapons in a little bin.
But my favorite Easter egg from this episode was where Grief Karga gave them a chunk of land.
Yeah,
Pirates. Bullet
Canyon, I believe it was called. Fucking brilliant, man! Like, I saw that and I had a tear.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Hearing that, I'm like, did he just say that, man? Like, he's invented a new cool thing, like, and I'm all for it. So, great job to the writers, whoever added that in there. That was awesome. And
but I do have an overall theory though for the whole this section of the universe. So like the Mandalorian,
I don't have a John theory intro.
The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett, the Ahsoka, like I think they will eventually find Thrawn. He's already been mentioned so he's alive, because they were like, "Where's Thrawn?" stuff like that. So you know that he's alive. He didn't die out there in the Outer Rim. So Thrawn is alive. Moff Gideon is still alive. And they're really pushing this cloning thing. It started back in the Bad Batch, and they've been working to perfect this cloning thing even today. They had to get Grogu for some reason. My theory is because Grogu and his species, like Yoda and stuff, have more metachlorians than anybody else. So they're more attuned to the Force than any other species, is what I think. So that's the reason they really wanted Grogu, because the end goal is to clone a Jedi. They want to clone a Force user. You know what I mean? Not necessarily a Jedi that exists. I don't mean they want to clone like Luke Skywalker, or they want to clone Anakin, or do any of that.
They're doing
I think they want to clone.
splicing.
I think they want to clone a Force user, and that's the thing that's never been done. That's the thing the Kaminoans couldn't do. They could not clone someone to be attuned to the Force and use the Force.
I think it's more complex than that. I think they're looking to do the like gene splicing to take like the best elements of different groups, like the Force sensitivity of Grogu, and help inject that into like a Palpatine clone with like Zillo Beast armor.
Well, see, I don't actually think they're doing the Palpatine thing yet. I think what's going to happen is it's going to be Sam. It's going to be Sam Witwer. Sam is going to show up, and he's going to be
eventually.
He's going to be Galen Merrick. But he's not going to be called Star Killer because they already wasted the name Star Killer on Star Killer Base. So I think he's going to be just Galen Merrick, a clone that can use the Force, and Sam Witwer is actually going to play him, and we're all going to know it's that character from Force Unleashed, but it's a different take on that character. And I think what's going to happen is, in the end, there's going to be Thrawn, Moff Gideon, and Galen Merrick as the three baddies that emerge that are going to be in charge of this emerging new empire. And the Luke Skywalker, Ahsoka, Ezra, Sabine, Hera, Zeb, and Mandalorian with his group, like they're going to be the good guys that are going to fight them off. You know what I mean? So they'll be the new, and maybe even some of these new Republic guys we've seen, like Lee's character and stuff like that, will be in on it because they're starting to put the pieces together. At least he is starting to put the pieces together that something's out there. And the whole thing with this, where we got like almost a whole episode about the clone, and now we've got these connections going all the way back to Bad Batch, which they're stressing this clone stuff that I think they're building towards someone like Galen Merrick, and Sam Witwer is going to play the character. I really do think he's going to show up in live action as, Sam, but he's going to be some character.
I'm just going to say, I don't think we'll see him play that character in live action because he's already associated to another character, right? The Star Killer character.
Well, he's done voices for other characters.
Yeah, and the face is another actor. So what if they brought that character, Star Killer, to live action? Who the fuck's going to play him?
Sam Witwer.
Well,
Sam played him in the video game.
Sam Witwer is not the actor that plays Star Killer in 7 years of canon video games.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, no, it's his face.
The guy with the little droid. The guy with the little droid. Is that Star Killer?
That's Cal Kestis.
That's Cameron Monaghan.
Yeah, that's Cal Kestis. That's a different character.
Cal Kestis. I think Cal Kestis is the only guy we're going to eventually see be canon in the Star Wars live action.
I'm down for that.
The other guy, Star Killer, I think is just going to stay one of the cooler legends that we've had. I don't think he'll ever, because I think it's too much.
Sam's going to be in it. Sam's showing up.
It'd be cool because he has a couple of fans. I'm not a fan of him at all, but it'd be cool. He also voices Darth Maul too, right? So
and the Emperor,
I think it would be cool, but I'm not counting on doing something like that. I think it's more likely that Sam Witwer's brought in to do like other characters than a different version of.
He's a valuable voice actor for sure, right?
He's already
forget voice actor. Like I could see him being brought in for like just acting in as a new character in Star Wars, but I would say, like, if you read the recent Thrawn novels, there's this other group that's a bigger kind of threat in the unknown regions that's threatening the Chiss Ascendancy. They might end up being more the big bads, and this might not focus quite as much on the formation.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Yeah,
quite as much on the formation of the First Order, and go into the like politicking between the two different I can't remember, centrists and whatever other group in the Bloodline book. It's been a few years since I've read that, but highly recommend reading Bloodline if you haven't done so. It's really good. But
one of the other theories for the cloning side they always pull from is like they find Luke's hand, and they try to pull the mojo out of Luke's hand too, right? So there's always that too. But we'll jump onto the Bad Batch now and get some.
Well, real quick, I don't like Linda's talking about the sequels. I don't think this is First Order, like you mentioned it too, Sir Eric. Here, they're not doing the First Order. I think what it is they're focused on the new Empire, and that girl who's in there who wormed her way into the office. She's clearly a spy for Moff Gideon. And I think Gideon and Thrawn,
this chick here,
when they get together, when Gideon and Thrawn get together, I think that they are going to be trying to form the new Empire. And when when the new Empire falls and gets crushed beneath the heel of the Mandalorians and these last few Jedi that bound together, like Luke, Ahsoka, Ezra, and them that bind together to stop the new Empire and stop Thrawn and Gideon. It's way after that the First Order forms and starts and stays. And the First Order forms by staying in the Outer Rim. Yeah. They don't come in until, you got to remember, in Force Awakens, that's the first time they showed their power. They didn't really come out into the galaxy until those events. It was right. I think it was right before Force Awakens, but it was only a year or so before Force Awakens that they first showed themselves.
They were known. It's just the New Republic chose to not take military action. You see in the Mandalorian
because they refer to the
decommissioning. They're decommissioning the Alliance, the Rebel Alliance fleet, and they're demilitarizing things and not taking everything.
Yeah, they're getting all kind of lackadaisical, it looks like. So they're poised to be attacked.
But I really don't think, just based on the Thrawn novels and whatnot, I really don't think Thrawn is a villain. An antagonist, maybe, but I don't think he's a villain, and I don't think he's looking to, just having read the books he's in and whatnot, I don't think his allegiances lie with the Empire.
I agree with you partly with that. Like he was a villain because he was
he worked.
So you don't think he'll align himself with Moff Gideon at all? Then
maybe, but
a curator of fine artifacts.
He's like
Andor, a collector.
He's Star Wars Sherlock Holmes is what he is.
Okay.
That's the best way of characterizing him from seeing him in Rebels and reading the canon novels. But to me, he may ally himself with Moff Gideon, but it won't be for Imperial reasons. It'll, to me, more than anything, it will be to support the agenda of the Chiss Ascendancy and fight off the Grisks. The Grisks are the group.
I think you're kind of right there. Maybe we'll see. We'll be cheering on, Thrawn and the Ahsoka show a little bit as they're fighting off this new, villain, this new species or race, whatever it happens to be. Yeah. This new faction of badness in the Star Wars universe, which is, I'm all for it, man. Bring on a new faction of badness.
What was Ahsoka's motivation for finding Thrawn then in the?
I don't think she knows. I don't think she has all the I don't think she has all the details. It's I don't think
Moff Gideon on his own is strong enough to stand up against. So I think he's got to have an ally like Thrawn in order to stand up against.
Or like those Night Owl Mandos that rescued him from the shuttle. Because I don't think there's just two of them. Right? There's got to be more of them.
Oh, there's a lot more of those guys.
If Mando and the armor and Heavy Mando got a little crew of, I don't know, let's say there's 30, 40 of those Mandos there, including women and children and whatnot. Let's say there's another group of 30 or 40 Mandos that we kind of partly know of from the cartoons and stuff like that. But okay, where's Doc Brown? We got 3 episodes left. No freaking Doc Brown, who's one of the
I forgot he's
series.
He has a role this season, doesn't he?
Apparently, is he going to show up in the final scene? I'm Luke Skywalker. But here's what I think. I think Doc Brown is Bo-Katan's dad from the cartoons. I don't remember his name.
But that's cool.
Either apparently he died in the cartoons. Apparently, but people don't ever die, do they? But unless you're tech, you do die. But people don't always like.
His name is Tick. He's not Tack. It's Tick.
But yeah, man, I think that's who he's going to be. He's going to be Ahsoka's dad. He's going to have the long white hair.
Bo-Katan's,
What the frick is he? Is he hanging with the Night Owls? Is he going to be a bad Mando person? Who's to know? But let's talk a little bit more about Bad Batch. It's all the same story, but you guys got a little more.
I thought these 2 episodes of the Bad Batch were some of the best since the very first episode.
Oh, I agree, man. And it's only
the one with the Emperor was good too.
It's the Omega show now for me. Like the Omega show. The other guys are just their side characters.
Yeah.
So we got to see more Tarkin. We got to see Iriadu for the first time in
director Krennic.
We saw
finally.
And Ben Mendelsohn came like to do like one line of dialogue just for Krennic, which I thought that was surprising. But my guess is he probably did that as they were like working on Secret Invasion, and he was probably around to do something and record some line.
No, that's totally cool because I totally think we'll see him again.
I hope we do. I like that.
We're going to get more Andor story. We'll call it Andoverse in the Bad Batch cartoon because it's fucking all tying together, man. I love it so much that it's answering questions that I didn't even know I needed to know.
Yeah.
But now I need to know that relationship between Krennic and Tarkin. As we know it, it's kind of they headbutt a lot.
Yeah.
It wasn't always that bad.
It's kind of civil, right?
Well, it's very early days and all that, but if you want to learn more about Iriadu, definitely read the Tarkin novel.
That planting that Tarkin's on.
That's his home planet. Yeah, I won't give anything away or whatever. They explored some of like his backstory and whatnot in the comics too, with Zara, his protege, who was trying to.
Because Omega is important. She's the most important part of all the cartoon shows ever. In my opinion, all the cartoons they've ever made mean not much. Omega is actually an important character to the Star Wars story, and we don't know it yet. We don't know it yet.
We got
learning.
We got like our first real reason to be pissed off with Saw Gerrera.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
This was his first act that really sabotaged the Bad Batch. Yeah.
Oh,
no, that was cool too. Seeing Saw Gerrera. Yeah, I love it when they bring him back every time.
And I don't know who that female character was with him, but that was a female character that was in a stormtrooper costume.
I think I'm not sure if she was. I'm not sure if she was in the last season of the Bad Batch when they spared Saw Gerrera.
Oh, okay, I remember now. He was in that last season too.
Yeah, because the Empire sent them to take out these rebels or whatever, and it was just people and
because I was trying to think. Oh, is that what's her head? And I'm like, I
think
I
think it was just a no name. Like I'm not even sure they gave that character a name that was with him.
She's on a pretty important mission, blowing up Tarkin's castle.
Yeah, or trying to.
Jin. I thought for a quick minute, is that Jin? But the voice didn't have her accent. She's got the world's most pronounced accent.
Yeah, I don't think it was Jin or so, but
like I said last week and the week before, was it just last week? As soon as I heard, Dr. Omega's sister speak, I'm like, she's something to do with Omega.
Yeah, she's a clone.
Only clones and Omega have Aussie voices. Oh, in all the Star Wars universe, only clones. And boom, we get a female Aussie. I'm like, that's Omega's mom or something. And it turns out it's her sister. So how does that work? Because her age is Omega's this big, clones are this big.
Well, it's just
Omega's sister's right in the middle.
She might have the accelerated aging.
Yeah, it just depends on when she was created. We didn't know that Omega was the only female,
But there was
other females.
That's something new, right? There's another clone, at least one more that we didn't know about.
There were teasers for this though in the earlier episode when she was talking to Crosshair and Crosshair escaped and stunned her instead of killed her because like if you haven't picked up on like the Bad Batch only stuns clones but they'll shoot everyone. They'll use normal blaster bolts for everyone else. So
I've been noticing that.
What did I say? Did I say New Zealand?
Aussie. You said Aussie.
Aussie.
Yeah,
so
they're Kiwis.
Aussie accent different than
Kiwi.
a Kiwi accent?
Yeah,
yes.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're both
very.
It's
Canada, very.
I apologize. Tamora is also a Kiwi.
The stronger accent
right?
is the Kiwi, yeah. But
so that's the only point I'm making. The most beautiful accent in the world. I'll have to admit it too. Although I like my Trinidad and Jamaica accents too. I love them all. But yeah, it's so cool, man. Like, and plus she wears those weird tick goggles. Now I'm thinking, okay, is she gonna get?
She might replace
become a new Bad Batch person.
Yeah,
she could replace Tech next season and help Omega break out. But
yes, I'm trying to turn them all to the dark side.
But I like seeing.
There was lots of cool stuff in this Bad Batch episode.
I like seeing tiramisu, and I was like, "Where's Namaste?" They gotta have Namaste and tiramisu in this, and I thought
we didn't get any Hammerhead. No Kenner Hammerhead in the season finale Bad Batch, so I'm not going to give it a thumbs down, but yeah, come on, man.
But you saw Snaggletooth.
We saw Snaggletooth. Yeah, we did. He was running the bar.
The Snivian is the species.
Also, he was wearing red.
Yeah.
The original Red Snaggletooth. And the original Red Snaggletooth was played by a female actress. And I think if you were to look on Wikipedia, Red Snaggletooth is a female character. So she just got long hair now, working on a new planet as a bartender. Never know. I like to keep the Star Wars universe small. Tight-knit.
But I got to ask, is tiramisu the last Camonian, what are they called? Alive?
Kaminoan?
Yeah, Kaminoan. Is she the last one alive? I mean, did they wipe out the whole species?
I think they killed the other one.
There was the one, the former president or prime minister that they kept alive and whatnot and let go away because he basically said, in order to get Nalase's cooperation, you need to get Omega.
And I have to assume that they didn't wipe out that species of long neck blue people. They just
blew up the facility, right?
Scientist base. That facility.
They probably killed almost all of them though. In that,
you never know. It's a big universe. Here I'm talking about how small the universe is. Now I'm like,
because they killed. See, because the thing is that we know from Rebels and stuff that they basically killed all the Geonosians after that. There was only 2 or 3 alive, and that one had an egg for a new queen to sort of start his species over. Remember Click Clack? And he had that egg to start his species over again, and the rebels helped him keep that egg so he could rebuild his species. But the Empire essentially killed. If they didn't save that egg, they would have wiped out the whole species of Geonosians. So did the Empire do the same thing to Kamino? To stop the cloning thing, from having the technology, did they destroy the whole planet or just that facility?
I think that facility, Tapoka City, was the only inhabited part of the planet.
Yeah, maybe. They implied
That's like what they're.
Them all, but, you know,
that's kind of what they're getting at. The Empire wants control.
So there weren't
all cloning.
So it wasn't a planet where Camino had like billions of people. It's a planet where they only had a few hundred of their species.
It might be like Avatar. There might be another tribe on another part of the ocean. You know, like
they haven't fleshed that out. But what's clear is that the Empire at least wanted to take out all of the Kaminoans that had knowledge of cloning technology, and they just kept the one individual that would progress the technology on their side, so that they could learn how to do everything themselves. So,
and was I wrong? Is that Namaste and not tiramisu, or
Lamasu? Yeah, Lamasu was the prime minister, right? Nalase was.
Is the one that's in the show that
is the cloner who had Omega as her helper. There was also the old senator who was on Coruscant who got brought in to say follow the money or whatever.
Yeah.
So Smirkenberry brings up a point thinking what if Grogu was a clone? I think it's confirmed by Quill. Quill was able to tell, or Queel, the Ugnaught, Nick Nolte, that Yoda, or baby Grogu, was not a clone strand being.
A strand.
I don't know how.
Yeah.
He has some familiarity.
Well, plus we just saw that Ahmed Best rescued him and took him with him.
Yeah, so that was kind of our knowledge.
He was friends with Bail Organa then, right?
He wasn't meant to be any kind of a clone.
Probably more likely Jar Jar Binks.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Jar Jar
let him use the ship. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Because that ship is supposed to be only used by the Senate people in charge. So yeah, that would have been a ship loaned by Jar Jar Binks. You're right. Yeah. So
now this new
even cooler that it was Ahmed Best then.
This new evil doctor character, the man. Who looks like Sam Witwer. He wasn't around before the last episode, was he? He just showed up.
No, he showed up early in the season.
Yeah, he was earlier in the season with
same time as Omega's sister. That's Omega's sister's boss.
Yeah,
interesting. I don't like him. I don't like him at all.
She was on Mount Tantus before Hemlock.
That's right. Okay.
No. Yeah.
So what do you think's going on there with, we'll call them the cloners because that's what they are, right?
I think they're essentially trying to learn how to do what Pershing was talking about with taking specific elements of subjects to create a more perfect clone. And I think they're drawing this isn't. I feel like a bum because there's I
look like a bum.
Some of the other people doing reviews online are saying the same thing, but they're drawing a lot of real life parallels to the Nazis and whatnot, and Hemlock is that one Nazi guy.
I get that totally.
Testing on all the Jews, Poles, and Gypsies in the Holocaust.
Yeah, I get that vibe.
Kind of eugenics. Yeah.
A lot of these Empire cartoon characters, there's that one that Crosshair killed last week. He's just being a dick, but he just totally made me think. Oh, he's that one, Nazi guy trying to make an impression and climb the ranks of the squads and stuff, and it just came off as a dick. And same with that guy in Andor that I hate. Let's go hang him and just kill that guy. They're very, very when they come off bad, it works for me. Cartoon or live action or not, if they want me to hate a specific character that's not the main villain of the show, they're doing a good job, man. It's partly the actor, but I'm gonna give it all to the credit to the writers. So highlights from the Bad Batch finale. We have a death. right? We have
Tick is dead. Tick's gone.
Tick, I think, is 100%.
I cried.
Dead.
Yeah, that was too bad.
I got emotional after I watched Mando first, and then the 2 episodes of the Bad Batch, and I was like, that was a kick in the teeth. Oh man, that sucked.
We all watched the Mando first before we watched the Bad Batch, though, right?
No, I actually watched Bad Batch first and then Mando.
All right, so
the reason was because I was cooking lunch. And while you are cooking, what show do you want to pay attention to more? So I cooked during Bad Batch.
I have to watch it all.
Bad Batch because I don't care if I'm a little distracted while watching Bad Batch because that's not a show I thoroughly enjoy as much as. So I could sit down and eat and concentrate on Mandalorian. You know what I mean?
How did Heavy Mando take Moff Gideon? Did he walk up to the Imperial shuttle and rip the door open? Oh, he got a rocket pack, but he doesn't have enough fuel to fly up there.
It's a different
section from 2 episodes ago. I guess Mando jetpacks run out of fuel.
They do, yeah.
That's I think before. It's just a new thing now.
I think there's like you're gonna. I think what's gonna happen is you're gonna see. I think we've already seen 2 different factions, 2 different clans, if you will, of Mandalorians. The ones that used to be with Bo-Katan, like Axe Wolves and Sasha Banks, and then you've got this group that's with the Armorer that Bo-Katan has now joined.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a 3rd and maybe a 4th. I think we're going to see at least 3, if not 4, different clans. Yeah. And then when they start uniting the clans, there's going to be like 10 or so other ones that just show up that we've never seen before to make like hundreds. There'll suddenly be hundreds of Mandalorians standing before us. When whoever comes to bring them together, whether it's Bo-Katan or the Mandalorian himself, which I think is going to be the Mandalorian. I think this is a show about how a character came from nothing, essentially, to become the leader of the Mandalorian people. And this is the story of Conan the King and how the guy who didn't want to be king becomes king. And that's who the Mandalorian is. He's going to become king even though he didn't want to become king. And he's going to be the one that brings them all together even though he didn't want that part.
There's definitely precedent for Mandalorians helping the Empire, but I'd be surprised if it was them that, like any of them that are left over that broke out Moff Gideon. I think it's probably more likely that
a setup.
And remember, Moff Gideon was the one responsible for the siege of Mandalore, like the Night of 1,000 Tears or whatever they called it. The like sacking of Mandalore and all the fusion bombs as they call it. But he had access to all of that Beskar and whatnot, right? So
during the purge,
during the purge, and he, like, I'm pretty sure that the Dark Troopers have like Beskar alloy in them.
Yeah,
right. I think it was Dark Troopers that kind of flew over and busted out Moff Gideon. And I think it's anything's possible. I think what you mentioned, John, is perfectly plausible. But I think it's more likely that it was a setup to distract the New Republic.
That could be
from like blaming the Mandalorians and getting in the way of like distracting the New Republic from the real enemy and the real cause, right?
Yeah. So Smirking Bear bringing up that racing episode with Tick. That was a great episode. The fans were like, Tick, 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 cheered on Tick. That was cool because it was the Beggars Canyon pod racers, right?
I'm kind of like wondering where Bad Batch is going to go because I personally I was hoping for one of 2 things with this season. I was hoping they would either get on like the A-Team bandwagon where or like the Incredible Hulk or Kung Fu, where these guys are traveling the galaxy, and when they stop on different planets, they help somebody else out, or they do what they did in these last 2 episodes, where it's more about the buildup of the Empire taking over and what the Empire is doing in these early stages, and the Bad Batch sort of navigating their way through this landscape of a changing universe. You know what I mean? And that's what I saw in this last 2 episodes, and I hope they continue with that, because I really enjoyed these 2 episodes. I thought it was
good. It was good. It was sad that we lost a character, but
yeah, but it was some of the best of the entire series.
We knew it was going to happen.
Seasons, you know.
We knew at least someone was going to pass eventually, right?
And that Sid was going to betray them, right? That was set up.
Yeah.
Right, but for season 3, like, I have to imagine season 3 is going to be the last season of the Bad Batch, and it's all going to be focused on rescuing Omega, and then like Omega will survive, but I'm calling it now. The rest of the Bad Batch is toast by the end of the season.
Sadly,
by the end of season 3, and they're all going to sacrifice themselves to save Omega.
And I think Omega's sister is going to live, and again, she's got to be an important fucking character, man. Like, why else would they give Boba Fett another sister like
that he hasn't met?
Boom! Here you go, 2 sisters. You're 40-something years old. You're the daimyo of the town center part of Tatooine, and we're gonna throw these 2 sisters in your face eventually, man. It's got to happen. So what Linda's bringing up here, like, we're talking a little bit of spoilers here. There was leaked images or fan drawings of something he saw of red Mandalorian looking / Praetorian Guard looking helmets. So potentially Royal Guard type of guards for Moff Gideon, who again is rumored to have new Mandalorian kind of armor at some point. So yes, maybe those characters are part of the crew that does rescue him from the prison transfer. The other new, because Stormtrooper armor is why I love Star Wars. All the new armors they come up with, whether it's a clone, Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, they're all cool. Now we got Macquarie Stormtrooper design.
Yeah, these are early Stormtrooper design stuff.
Coolest of them all.
Yeah.
We got the Praetorian Guard from the sequels. They're still pretty cool.
Do Stormtroopers
guys, all the different Mando helmets. We got the Armor's helmet. Din Djarin's helmet. Everyone's got a cool look to that.
They didn't give Grogu a helmet yet
from the Star Wars T-visor reference that we get. So the other Stormtrooper kind of armor that's rumored is a gold Stormtrooper that's red and crackled and broken like Kylo Ren's helmet was, where he broke his helmet and he soldered it back together with red Play-Doh or whatever, red magic. Apparently there's also a legion of Stormtroopers or some kind of troopers that are loyal to Moff Gideon or whoever the bad guy is. And the other rumor is that they're dead. They're like zombie troopers. So, spoiler alert, there might be weird zombie troopers and red troopers. But whoever's inside them, I think is that Axe Woves and Sasha Banks.
I don't know.
Where are they? They didn't just write them off the series.
No, but they'll be back when Bo-Katan recollects her tribe. They'll be back.
Yeah, right? I think that.
But do Stormtroopers still use? Wasn't it plasteel in the olden days?
Yeah,
that's still considered that or not?
Yeah.
Or have they changed it in the new canon?
As far as I'm concerned, that's still the material.
And then Durasteel was the other thing, right? Who was?
Durasteel is more like a normal kind of steel
that was the original Boba Fett armor, but that's changed now to Beskar, right?
I have always thought Crosshair would be the kind of like we just saw Tech just sacrifice himself to save his brothers and sister.
I think Crosshair's already.
I always thought Crosshair was going to be the one to do that, right? But I think Crosshair's got someone else has plans for Crosshair. I think. So, what's your theory on what will happen with Crosshair now? We didn't even get to see him at all last episode, which sucked.
He was just passed out.
Yeah, he was just passed out the whole time, and Omega's like, tick, tick. Is he going to become a Death Trooper or, prototype Snoke? Eric might have not seen my theory from last week, but Crosshair is in Snoke somehow. I just think the resemblance is... Otherwise, and here, I'll go back on that again. Why are these Bad Batch, Clone Force 99, none of them are Tamara Morrison likeness, but every other clone except Omega and her sister, of course, the female, are not Tamara Morrison likeness. Young Boba Fett was Tamara Morrison likeness as he grew up to be that adult Boba Fett. All the clones, they may change their haircut, get a tattoo, whatever it is, get a nickname, but those guys, there's a reason why they look different.
Because they made intentional genetic modifications to them, right?
But I'm just wondering how that might add to the story of tying them to the sequels. Like when I say Crosshair is Snoke, but I think Snoke will have Grogu Moju in him. He'll have Snoke Moju, whatever. Take all the best Moju from, like you were saying, take all the best parts from different Jedis and Sith and powerful beings and see if we can make it some super being, right? Or use it as a weapon.
I think what might be more likely is, on Mount Tantus, remember Hemlock was saying all the clones are Imperial property. They're going to imprison all of the clones. There might be a clone uprising that helps save Omega, but Hemlock is going to have access to all of the clones to try and reverse engineer the Kaminoan cloning process and whatnot, and figure out how to do the whatever gene splicing or whatever, so that they can selectively clone or takes the best parts of certain creatures or beings and add those into clones. But my guess is that they're going to take a lot of those clones and possibly even Crosshair to make as the next the first iteration of Dark Troopers.
Yep.
Because
it's a loyal fighting machine, right?
Because remember they said Dark Troopers were they were all droids, but they didn't used to be droids. They used to be.
Right. They started.
They resemble they were more like people. And remember, there was that assassin on Coruscant earlier on that was a clone that had their number wiped.
Yeah.
They're probably going to do that with a lot of the clones and possibly Crosshair to make them the first versions of Dark Troopers, and then make them more like cyborgs and
just remote control,
Yeah,
it's interesting. There's a lot of these storylines going on, but the main one coming from the Bad Batch, and now it's getting thrown into the Mandoverse a little bit, is the cloning part of the Star Wars story. So, where is it going? And are we going to have to wait and see the answers in next season of the Bad Batch?
Yes.
Or are we getting more of it? With 3 episodes left of Mando, there's a lot of shit I want to see. I need to see Boba Fett ride the Mythosaur and rule Mandalore.
They've only got 3 episodes Mando left. And Bo-Katan.
I want to see Doc Brown in whatever character he's playing. That's the 2 important things I need to see in less than 3 hours of Mandoverse. So I don't know what we're gonna get, man. I hope they don't throw Ahsoka back in the show again for no reason, because it would add nothing to the current storyline of which is what? What is the current Mando storyline like? Building a new home and
they're going to. It's reforming Mandalore. The tribes are going to come together. That's the story that's going on right now. The stuff with Gideon and the other things are building up towards what's going to happen. 3 seasons from now.
But they've already filmed that. They filmed Gideon and Doc Brown 2 years ago. Are they literally waiting for the last 8 minutes of season 3 to show these 2 main characters? What we're thinking are main characters.
My prediction is we're going to see that covert of Mandalorians and maybe any others that Bo-Katan can rally in the short term. They're going to go back to Mandalore, and that is where Moff Gideon will show up to like ambush them, and then like all of a sudden like Grogu's going to come out of the ground with the mythosaur and totally wreck
Grogu,
shit
right?
up. Oh yeah, I think it's going to be Grogu on the mythosaur because he was the one that calmed the Rancor in Book of Boba Fett. Yeah,
if Boba Fett doesn't show up next episode, I will take a shower. I don't know. He better show up, man. Come on, he's such a fucking cool character, man, and how is he not gonna help? Like, why didn't Mandalorian Din Djarin already take a piece of land and go live at? Like, he was kind of. He didn't. I don't think he had to become sheriff of Freetown of Apollo Town to get land. He probably could have said, "Yeah, I could take that land, raise my little buddy." But now the whole clan of what I think is 30 people are going to have a new place to live, and they can build condos and high rises, whatever they like, right? Maybe they can build ships. But before this leaves my mind, okay, with the armor, she builds the armor for all the good Mandos. There's got to be a bad armorer, right?
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what who is the bad armorer character? Like that if Moff Gideon gets his new armor, who made it? They didn't 3D print it. Like, so could Doc Brown be the bad armorer? I don't know.
Wasn't it part of Sabine's own family that went in where that was joined with part of those Imperials, and also one of the Vizsla clan in the red and white armor.
Yes. And Sabine,
Fen Rao,
correct me if I'm wrong,
Fen Rao was in there.
That was a main character in the cartoons.
Well, she had a brother and a mother.
But didn't she also have a sister that maybe died, maybe didn't die?
I don't remember if she had a
Who, Sabine?
I remember Sabine had a
brother.
And her mother was there. Yeah, and
because those characters are.
But wasn't the brother leaning towards siding with the Empire? He wanted to.
Yeah, he kind of had some bad intentions too, right? Like, I don't really remember what became of all of them.
And yeah, it was Fen Rao who was the main one that joined the Empire in the red and white armor.
I think for sure.
But I'm like, are any of those guys still alive or not?
We'll see in the Mandoverse if everyone still live.
Was Fen Rao part of a Rao clan, or was he a Fen clan, or what? Or was he part of Vizsla's clan? I thought he was part of Vizsla's clan.
But wasn't didn't they get? They got Fen Rao to help them in Rebels. It was Gar Saxon who was
Gar Saxon. I remember him.
Yeah. I'm having.
That's why I still think he becomes the Mandalore.
Yeah.
Because they all wear his insignia, which I know it's not his insignia. It's the insignia, right? So he has it for a reason, because his ancestors rode the mythosaur, right? That's why Boba's clan is this clan, right? But I guess anyone can wear it, as the armor now says. Which, I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird.
I think it was just the mythosaur is like something that any Mandalorian can.
Well, didn't Mandalore the Great ride out on a mythosaur with the Darksaber? Wasn't that like a? Didn't we see that in an image like years ago?
That was Tar Vizsla,
from mythology.
Who was the first Jedi Mandalorian?
Yeah, but he took on the name Mandalore the Great after he unified Mandalore.
But was he the same one that rode the mythosaur? I can't remember.
I thought there was that old image that we saw like 20 years ago in like the old artwork where it showed him riding with the Darksaber above his hand. But back then they didn't call it the Darksaber.
That's cave drawings. That comes from like a cave drawing. Like it's like the armor said it's from Tales.
Because remember, we
have tales of Jesus, and
tales of the
we
first.
Don't know if Jesus
tales
was ever
of
real. It's a tale, right? Like
tales of that Mandalorian Jedi go all the way back to like the Old Republic stuff, like way back, stuff that was written 20, 30 years ago. they were doing all that stuff in the 90s. You know what I mean? Like
I don't think
I think incorporated some of that of Mandalore the Great into today's, because that image was the same image of Mandalore.
But I think
even back then,
Tar Vizsla and Mandalore the Great are two different people.
Yes. Like
now,
it's from legend, not legend, from tales of gone by.
In canon, Tar Vizsla was just the first like Mandalorian Jedi
Last Jedi,
who left the Order and took his lightsaber with him he left the Order, came back to Mandalore, his lightsaber was still in the Jedi Temple, and then after his passing, the Mandalorian sacked the Jedi Temple to steal the Darksaber. But that person was different than Mandalore the Great. I want to say.
Okay.
Could happen. Arm wrestles solve lots of problems in world history's, worst of times. They could have just settled it with a simple arm wrestle. One thing on the Mando show, now that I completely forgot what it was. So, yeah. I was about to bring something up and I totally forgot it. And I'm not stoned at all.
But I do think that Bo-Katan and Mando, I think they're setting them up for a fight. I think they're going to have to, but the weird thing is I think
what I liked about the Mando show, sorry to cut you off, John, is a lot of the first person shooting kind of, imagery we kind of got as, they went into the village to fight the pirates. There was a lot of that, modern warfare kind of first person shooting video games kind of look, feel to it, which is cool because we've never really seen that with any of the Mandos at all, where like they're working together as a team and okay, shoot left, aim right. Like it was just like I was watching a Afghanistan war movie or something, the way the terminology was going.
So two things on that. One, it was awesome that the Kowakian monkey lizards were pointing
out.
That way.
Where the ambush was. But the Mandalorians, when they got surrounded in whatnot by the pirates, they said, "Oh, we're surrounded. You have jetpacks, dummies."
Like,
I'm thinking to myself, just go up and shoot from above.
Yeah, same with Boba Fett and Fennec Shan when they got surrounded by those pirates at one time. Like Boba Fett had a jetpack, right?
Yeah,
I agree with G-Force. No, there's no romance between Bo and Mando. I think Bo-Katan is going to fight Mando for the saber, but
I used to think that, but I think Bo-Katan. If Bo-Katan
look at the way she's acting
with anyone, I think it'll be the armorer.
Think about how she's acting and going behind, like she's really going behind his back and sneaking around and doing things that, like, she didn't tell him that she saw she tells the armorer that she saw the mythosaur, but doesn't tell Mando.
And then the armorer is kind of the leader of that clan.
She sets up this whole
I see the armorer as a leader role.
Yeah, but if she were going to fight the armor for control, she wouldn't tell her about this stuff. I think she wants to somehow.
She still wants leadership.
Yeah, she wants to lead. She doesn't want to. She knows that if she leaves the sword in Mando's hand, and more Mandalorians come to join them, more and more Mandalorians are going to automatically try to follow him because he has the saber and he won it in combat. So
they're going to have to set up.
For a fact is that Boba Fett, hail Lord Boba Fett, Boba Fett does not like Sasha Banks and Axe Woes. He hates them. They don't like each other. They will never be friends and fight together. I just think that's not going to happen. So now because of that, because I think they're still around and they're bad Mandos, Bo-Katan is going to go try to see those Mandos. Hey, come join our group of 28, men, women, and children with 0 spaceships and live on the desert. And I think they'll stay bad, and they'll try and recruit Bo-Katan to be bad and tell her, your dad was this guy, and here he is right here, Doc Brown, your dad. join us, and that's what I think will happen. I think Bo-Katan will be convinced because Doc Brown, her dad, will say, "Be a bad Mando and join us, the Mandos, the bad Mandos with owl eyes." I don't know. Doc Brown,
well, yeah, they did because the like Oakhurst is saying, no one wanted to fight for him in Navarro. What are you talking about? Vizsla himself stood up and said, "I will fight with this guy and stand behind him." And then the whole clan went, "Yay!" And they all
but he kind of hid it at first. He's like, "I got something to say, and I'm not happy about it.
Yeah.
I'm with him." He was kind of leading us on, right? And
but that's that typical rally thing that they do in every movie. You know what I mean? Like they did it in Men in Tights. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Lend me your ears.
Challenge him right there. I challenge him for the Darksaber again.
But I don't think. But I'm not sure. I think Bo-Katan is being a bit sneaky about things. But I don't think
her now, though. I think there's something cool about her.
But I don't think there's going to be a conflict with Din because he doesn't care. He clearly doesn't care about any perceived station he gets by being
but the problem is she knows that she can't just have it given to her. He already tried to give her the Darksaber. She can't take it unless she wins it in battle. So she has to fight him.
I don't think the Darksaber itself matters as much right now after this chapter 21 as it did 2 chapters ago.
No, it does.
I think because the armorer, who's the leader of all the Mandalors that we know of and the scene on screen, she right now, I don't know, if the Darksaber was important, it would have got brought up last episode.
So
I don't think it's as important because Din Djarin has it.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be the case, but it's I can definitely see where the argument's going to be made that Bo-Katan is going to turn into Smeagol all over the Darksaber. My precious.
Now, did Bo-Katan's dad ever wield the Darksaber?
No.
So that's not Paz Vizsla's dad, right? Or relative?
No. Okay. No. The Paz Vizsla's relative, comes from Clan Vizsla, and Pre-Vizsla was the first wielder of the Darksaber that we saw in these stories, other than
that's why
Vizsla, who made it.
That's why Vizsla fought Mando when he first showed up with that. He was like, that sword belongs to my family. Yeah.
Pre-Vizsla is not related to any characters that we know of, right?
Well, no. Paz Vizsla's relative.
Yeah. So we don't know what father. Going on timeline.
Vizsla's a clan. Vizsla's sort of like a clan, so they don't even have to necessarily be from the same bloodline to be in the clan.
That's what I mean. Could that Paz Vizsla character be Bo-Katan's dad, Doc Brown?
No.
Why not? They both have blue and white armor.
We just said Christopher Lloyd isn't that big?
Paz Vizsla, whoever. The guy from the cartoons with the gray hair.
You mean Pre-Vizsla? But Pre-Vizsla was killed by Maul.
Yeah, Maul chopped his head off.
So he's for sure dead. Okay,
unless they sewed his head back on, but yeah,
he dead.
Put robot legs on his head.
Yeah.
Okay, so Doc Brown is Bo-Katan's dad. There you go. That's my
theory. Yeah, that could be. Yeah,
that's possible. I mean, we saw somehow. We saw that one shot in a trailer where you see a Mandalorian kind of city dome area surrounded by grass and not completely leveled, and whatnot with salt flats or whatnot. So that could be Mandalore before the Civil Wars, and that might be where you see Christopher Lloyd, but it could also just be it could be a flashback, but it could also be a different Mandalorian settlement on a different planet where they just created a new domed city.
Yeah. See, it was Mandalore. We don't know, right? It was Mandalore the Great that rode the Mythosaur. I thought that's who
it was, but that's not Tar Vizsla, the first Mandalorian Jedi.
Okay.
Yeah, so there is a clip from one of the many trailers that shows like a domed village city kind of thing
with grass.
We don't know if it's from a flashback or if it's like
a different planet. Yeah.
Good point. I wonder. 3 episodes left. I bet we're going there.
Yeah.
And we got to see. I thought we saw them in the trailer, but I think it was confirmed that what we saw in the trailer was pirate spaceships. Because I think people thought they saw Mando specific fighters in the trailers, but I don't think we have. But I'm assuming we will. They must exist in live action, right? Like
yeah.
Canon, so to speak.
Well, I think there's a lot we haven't seen yet. That's what I was trying to say earlier. We've only seen 2 different clans of Mandalorians, but I think there's going to be
more out there.
More out there, a lot more.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't think Bo-Katan is going to be the ruler of Mandalore. I really don't.
I don't either.
I think she's going to try for it. She wants to be the leader because it's in her family. You know, her sister was ruler and she tried for a little while, but like they said, she didn't have the sword, so it failed. Anyone who doesn't have the sword is destined to fail. And just because no one is following, it's not like someone blindly follows the person who has the sword. That's also never happened. The person who has the sword still has to prove themselves a leader, which Mando hasn't done yet. Din Djarin hasn't done. So like you're saying, they're not going to just blindly follow someone because they have the saber. But when Bo-Katan tries to ride the mythosaur and fails, then Mando rescues her, like one of you guys said before, and in the process rides the mythosaur out. He becomes the prophecy. He rides the mythosaur. He holds the darksaber over his head while riding the mythosaur out of the cave or whatever. And it all starts to come true. And when people see that, when the rest of the Mandalorians see that, they're going to be like, he's the one, you know. And
just wait though, that it's going to end up being like Game of Thrones, where like it's not Sansa or Bo-Katan, or Jon Snow or Din.
Yeah.
It's going to be Grogu. Grogu's going to be the next
like
Mandalore the Great.
Yeah, Milky said it'll be somebody else, and Mando and Bo-Katan will each be one of the warriors of the Round Table that they create. A representative from each clan will be in the circle, and they'll also be in that crowd. But I don't think it's going to be Grogu either. I think that's ridiculous for a 5-year-old child to rule the
He's
thing,
not.
You know?
He's 50. He's over 50. He's Anakin's age.
No, because think about it. If Yoda was 900, Yoda was 900 years old when he died. So you take away the 0, and that makes 90. So if Grogu's 50 years old, you take away the 0, that means he's 5.
Well,
maybe.
I don't think.
Yeah, they live 900 years old, and at 900, it's equivalent of 90. So at 50 years old, it's the equivalent of 5. Yeah,
they don't age. They don't age the same way because Yoda became a Jedi. No, I know, but Yoda became a Jedi. Yoda became a Jedi Master, and like went on the council when he was like quite like not like too much older than Grogu.
He was like 200 years old.
Something around that. But like, hold on. Like,
I don't think we know.
I think we're looking into this too much. All I'm saying, all I'm trying to say is that Grogu, like, we are going to see Grogu talk and be more like conversant, and he is going to be the next leader of the Mandalorians. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. The title.
Who do you think's going to be the leader of the Mandos?
Grogu.
With his little Flavor Flav disc?
That's a temporary.
What is that?
That's a temporary thing. It's just
supposed to be his chest piece. That's his chest armor.
Chest piece for what? Like, is he Pac-Man? Like, why?
It's just a temporary thing.
Same shape as like all other people's chests.
Like,
I don't know why they didn't shape it. Yeah, I thought they should have shaped it.
It is weird. It was cool, but it was weird. They could have gave him a little wrist gauntlet. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Paintball. Now, cool. Paintballs in the Star Wars universe. Good or not good?
Yeah, right. That was cool.
Yeah.
I put a poll in the chat if you two guys want to participate in the poll.
Oh, I already
think we'll ride the mythosaur.
Grogu.
It wouldn't let me put Hammerhead for some reason.
It wouldn't let you.
Vern thinks Paz will rule. I don't think he'll rule. I think his helmet will come off, though. I think when I was saying a couple weeks ago, someone's helmet's coming off, I'm picking Heavy Mando in the armor for like that big kissing scene, or Darksaber the head off scene. We'll see their heads. But yeah, now that the armor has kind of made it, it's okay. I just take your helmet off now. It's all cool, man. It's all cool. I think other people are going to start popping the lids off.
I just want to see. I don't want to wait for a subsequent season to see more of the Mythosaur. Now that we know that it's in we know it's in the mines of Mandalore, the living waters and whatnot. We like.
No,
the group needs to go back to Mandalore, and
I think they're going next episode. That they said let's go back and take Mandalore. You know, right? So is that next episode or 2 from now?
Is there anything in the Bad Batch episode that we want to bring up that adds to the Star Wars lore? And I don't think anything changes in the Mandoverse because we haven't learned a lot when it comes to the cloning storyline. They kind of drag that out. But what I want to think about the Bad Batch is, am I mistaken? Those evil scientist guys, they told the cloning alien Lamassu or whatever, you help us do this, and she's like, no, I won't unless you get me Omega. And then now they brought her Omega. Now that Dr. Lamassu or whatever will help them.
Well,
they don't need to experiment anymore. They have the person there that knows how to do it. Now they're at the point now they can just do whatever they're going to force her to do. Like,
well, they were using
push the button and clone this being. Now,
I don't think it was as much that as it was. Nalase didn't want to help, but now she'll be forced to help because they'll threaten Omega. I don't think. Yeah. I don't think Hemlock.
Didn't she make a deal?
No. It wasn't a deal. It was more of like if you we're gonna force you to work because we'll hurt. Like they were implying
care for her.
Yeah, we're gonna they were implying that they were gonna hurt Omega if Nalase didn't help.
Yeah. I like it. I like this part of the storyline.
But I think in the Empire's doing that, I don't think they know the true importance of Omega.
No, they don't know that she becomes.
I think they're just using her for leverage,
the armor, or the Tusken female warrior. But they also don't know. I don't think the Empire knows that Omega's sister is Omega's sister. They just think it's some female scientist chick with a Kiwi accent.
Yeah.
So I think that she will definitely become a good person, a hero, so to speak, and maybe will become a new Bad Batch member, a new way of pronouncing Tik and Omega.
Text replacement. Yeah.
And she'll get the goggles. And Tek's girlfriend, Wanda Sykes. She's sad. Eh? Poor Wanda Sykes. Her brown eyes is gone. Well, welcome back.
I had a glitch. I don't know what happened.
Hey, Mike, did you pick Bo-Katan in the poll? Vern, that was a cool Zeb custom. He made 2 Zeb customs overnight in a cave. While we were sleeping, Vern made 2 different Zeb customs.
Oh, nice.
It's a great figure. I got the Zeb figure. Now I want the kind of, it wasn't retro, but the 5 POA. They had a bunch of Rebels and Clone Wars figures, and they made Zeb.
I didn't know that.
Now I want him.
Yeah, it was a good figure.
Anything you didn't like about the Bad Batch and how and why they ended it where they did? A little bit of a cliffhanger still, I guess, right?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was, like I said, I just thought it was one of the best of the entire series,
G-Force passes helmet off. Will it be Favreau? I don't think it will. If they did, I think that would be sad. but it might be. I don't know.
He just does the voice for him, right?
Not anymore. Now in the credits, Tate Fletcher is getting all the credit for the voice, and he's the actor inside the costume.
Oh, okay.
But because
I thought Favreau still did the voice.
Because they made he did for the first season only. Was Jon Favreau, and I don't know. I hope it wouldn't be Jon Favreau as much as it's cool to see all those other actors get a cameo. Actually, the one director, Jay Fujiyama, if that's his name. His name was like Boom Dodger, which is just a kind of funny play on words, like Boom Mike, and you're dodging it as a director. So his pilot's name is Boom Dodger. I thought that was pretty cool. I bet he picked it.
Yeah, I don't think you would see Favreau if he takes the mask off, because they've already shown him as a pilot in his. So it was just kind of confusing that how many people have his face in the universe now that you know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing about the clones. Like, we do see like an older clone in the Kenobi show, but that's it, man. Like, they made millions and millions of these clones. How many of them did the Empire, incinerate or
Well, that's what we're finding out right now in Bad Batch.
I know, but now we're gonna wait. Yeah. Now that all the show's on a break, we gotta wait. But maybe they already made this show and they dropped the Bad Batch, Christmas or something. It'd be cool.
Well, Bad Batch was supposed to come out in August.
For the next season?
No, this season was. They delayed it. It was. It was supposed to come out much earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, it's shitty that. Yeah, we'll literally have to wait potentially 2 years, even. Right? Like, we'll see what they announce at Celebration. I'm kind of. Rumor has it they're dropping 3 movies at Celebration. I highly doubt they're going to drop 3 new movies at Celebration.
No, I think it's just one. They're going to announce one movie.
But this place I get the rumors from, it's never been wrong. Like, so it's.
Where do you go to?
The internet.
Don't tell me it's Mike Zero, because that guy's always
never not Mike Zero. Like the Bespin Bulletin guys.
I was going to say Bespin Bulletin is usually more accurate than not.
Yeah, these guys spy from their hotel rooms or whatever.
And like whether you like the guy or not, for whatever reason, the Making Star Wars guy, Jason Ward.
Star Wars, Jason.
They usually have good intel. Them and
for sure.
Bespin Bulletin. Yeah,
I appreciate those guys and what they do. I watch their content every day. Star Wars Meg in the UK, she pops on a 10-minute video with her theories, but what I don't get is how they're like, just Meg as an example, because she's kind of the daily, here's my 10-minute video of Star Wars, which is cool. Like, it's something I appreciate watching. But I don't get how you're able to do that when it comes to the YouTube rules and the copyright rules and stuff, because it's literally just 100% all someone else's footage and audio.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, you're not allowed to do that. But people do it. Like new media rock stars, all these guys that do these breakdowns of all these shows, every week, they have, and you can't download from Disney Plus. It's blocked, so you can't. So people have to find illegal ways to get this content digitally onto their computer hard drives so they can replay it in Adobe Premiere and edit it and make these clips. So I just don't know how they allow it, because they're not doing any of it by the legal ways provided.
Well, I've often said the same thing.
I just don't know how people get away with it.
I often said the same thing because when I had Movie Pass a few years ago, I think it was before lockdown. I was going to see every single movie on opening day because I could see them for free. Essentially, I was just literally every single movie, even the ones that were terrible, I was going, and I was putting up reviews of the movies and trying to use the preview as the clips that I would show, but I kept getting copyright things because I was using the trailer. And I'm like, wait a minute, other channels show breakdowns of the trailer and play the whole trailer front to back, and I'm just showing a clip of the trailer and getting a copyright problem? Like, what the hell?
Yeah,
like,
I've never got any.
Do it. I ended up stopping.
Except for like music I purposely played. Like, you know, like that's the only time I've gotten a copyright was for. Okay. So now I'm going to play it for a couple of seconds, but I get a copyright for that. Like, I don't care.
I ended up stopping doing it, and I actually deleted every single movie review I did from the channel because they were causing so many problems. And I didn't understand. I've done a lot of trailer reactions and never got a flag or nothing. I think that's the trailers are a little more public domain and stuff. No, I got one on every single trailer. Every single trailer I did, I got it. I must have done like 100 reviews, and every single trailer review I did got flagged for a copyright thing. Every single one.
It may just be because you're not one of the approved.
I'm not a big channel.
People.
Yeah, Screen Crash is what I watch a lot of those. I like. You know, I watched a few of them today, thinking I'd remember everything and spew it out all here today with you guys, but it doesn't work that way. I remember the cool stuff that I like and the stuff I don't like, and those are the stuff I tend to dwell on. Thanks, Ricardo. You guys, any of you guys in the chat, you guys ever want to join in on these and throw out your opinions? Because if I miss them in the chat, I do apologize. I try to read everyone, and I know my guests try to read as I pop them on the screen. We're just over 2 hours. I don't want to go too much longer.
I do have one question for you guys.
Ask away.
I don't watch these speculation channels or anything, but did any of them say anything about that tweet? That I don't remember. I think it was a Facebook post actually that Daisy Ridley did about coming back to Star Wars, and then like they made her delete it within like. It was less than 24 hours that it was up before they made her delete it. I remember I woke up and I saw it in my feed. I was like, and I sent my friends Derek and Daryl the link. I was like, hey, check this out. Daisy says she's coming back to Star Wars. And then later in the day, one of them wrote me and goes, this link doesn't go to anything. And when I checked it, it had been deleted already. So she posted about coming back to Star Wars, and they made her delete it. So I thought that was what the announcement was going to be at Star Wars Celebration.
I think it will be still.
I think she's going to walk out on stage with Kathleen Kennedy and go, Daisy Ridley's coming back. We're doing another sequel film,
and Finn's a Jedi.
And she's going to get booed off the stage, Kathleen Kennedy.
Boo nobody, man. Like, I was at the freaking Chicago room.
I know.
Where Jar Jar walked out. And 10,000 people started bawling. Nobody booed, and they're going to be screaming. Like Jar Jar still, but yet they all cheered and cried.
They're going to be screaming that all the people who hate the sequels are going. I agree, Rick. They're going to be in the audience at Celebration, screaming overjoyed that the sequels are coming back. And it's like, wait a minute! I thought you all hated the sequels.
Well, it is interesting because like Celebration does that to people though. People get excited for anything new, right? Like there might be some boo boys in the crowd, but generally speaking, everyone at Celebration is just so excited to be a part of everything that they're going to cheer for everything. But like,
be safe, Vern.
Yeah,
get under the desk if you have to, but keep the stream going. I need the view.
Oh shit! I hope everything's okay.
And
the collection's fine.
Eric's watching out for Sharknadoes in his neck of the woods.
His collection just fell on the floor.
Oh no!
Oh, did he say that?
No, but if he had an earthquake,
because no one has any action figure stands, so they're all buried. I have heard that rumor about Daisy Ridley.
I was wondering if the guys were talking about it.
They're all under freaking contract, and they're all coming back anyway, whether we like them or not. Her, Oscar Isaac.
John
Boyega, they're under contract for many more Star Wars appearances and stuff, and I don't think you get out of those. I think when you get in, we're doing a 5-movie deal. You're going to get $20 million a movie for 10 years. Do whatever you want. We'll give you a year's notice when we need you. Like, we'll see them all again, man. They're all super talented actors. I love John Boyega, man. I think he just finished making Attack the Block 2. So I think that's
I can't wait.
I love that show. He made that show. It must be 15 years ago now.
That was the first time I ever saw him was in Attack the Block.
But yeah, the rumors are 3 movies being announced at Celebration. If any of that's true or not, I think 2 of them will be announcing shit they've already announced. So like if Taika's movie actually is going forward and now they have a name, boom, that could be considered and announced. If the canceled Patty Jenkins X-Wing Road Squadron, that was originally the name, and it's kind of been backburnered and put under Wonder Woman's skirt and then spun around again. And then
it'll have a new name, but it'll be the same.
That might be announced, maybe a new name, new director, but based on Carson Teva and X-Wings and stuff like that, right? So it might be 2 or 3 movies that we've already heard of. They're just getting re-pumped up, and now it's official. We've signed a check, and Kevin Smith is directing and starring Tom Green, all being filmed in Vancouver, right after Peacemaker. But yeah, you never know, man. Definitely think they got to announce at least another new TV show.
But there's the
TV shows in a while.
There's the one guy who's the showrunner for Peaky Blinders who came on.
Yes, he's been penciled in for a movie, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the always rumored and canceled, and then rumored and canceled again, Rian Johnson trilogy. I'm a huge fan of Rian Johnson making another Star Wars film. The guy knows what he's doing, man. Like, he got the shaft, he got the short end of that stick. JJ stuck stuff up his bum, and it didn't work, man. You can't do that.
I'm not alone. I'm a huge Rian Johnson fan. I love
him, man.
Well, I just think that I think they should have had a plan for those 3 movies, regardless of who did them. But I do agree that Rian Johnson is a good filmmaker because I liked Looper a lot, and I liked Knives Out, and I really love the Onion one, the new one.
He was involved in that Godzilla movie too. That was made here in New West, I believe. I don't know if he was a producer.
No, that was
Gareth Edwards, wasn't it?
That was
Gareth Edwards. Yeah. He did the other prequel.
Rogue One.
Show. Or Rogue One. Sorry. Yes, and if you remember that Godzilla movie, it's been a few years now, but there was a scene in it where, like, the way these doors are closing, it looked like Boba's T-visor. It was just a cool scene. Because I think back then he was maybe rumored to be making the Boba Fett movie or something, and it turned into
that was that guy Josh. That was that guy Josh Trank who made the really, really awful Fantastic Four movie.
Okay.
And then the guy had like a public, like I think he had like a mental breakdown or whatever that was very public, and Star Wars noped the fuck out of that contract.
Yeah, they don't like that kind of free publicity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, but Bad Batch ended with a bang. Omega's got a sister. Rest in peace to Tick. Tick wasn't my favorite Bad Batcher, but he was cool. I'm like a droid. I'm and even though he wasn't a droid, his other brother is more droid than him. The Go-Go Gadget arms and.
Do you think that Echo will die, or do you think Echo will go back with Rex and them again?
He'll die.
You think he's gonna die?
I think Echo will become part of that ship, kind of like L3 became part of the Falcon. I don't know. I'm just
what always fascinates me, which they never went back to. They hinted at it in Star Wars Rebels, but they've never gone back to it. And I've always wanted them to explore more of it. Is the guys who have the band around their head, like Lobot.
Lobots.
The guy that he was in. They had one of Ezra's friends that had one on.
Yeah.
That was in
like the board,
and he wasn't fully himself once he got that band, that robot band or whatever it is. I remember like Lobot in the movie, like this is what always got me was Lando turned him on.
Yeah, he woke him up.
And like so it's like
aged him.
Dude, are those guys like partially under control of someone who? You know what I mean? Like,
I think they've
essentially been like lobotomized and made into
a
cyborg,
half droid or something, right?
Yeah, they're cyborgs. They get into that in the into the comics with
they did mention some of it in the comics. You're right. Yeah.
Like how
Lobot me and Smirking Bear can go hunt down,
because they had a whole story about Lobot. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I think that season 1 of The Last of Us was actually filmed in Alberta. A lot of it was filmed there. So yeah, that'd be cool, man. I like to go hunt down actors and here, sign my boobs. I was close, man. I said it was Omega's mom, but I knew she was related to Omega. I just knew it, man.
My favorite of the Bad Batch was Tech. So this was a bummer to me. I always like I thought of the original crew of the Bad Batch kind of like the Ninja Turtles, like Leonardo and Hunter, Raphael and Crosshair, Michelangelo and Wrecker and Donatello and Tech. I always like the smart ones, and the goofy ones. Is
this one Tech?
Yep.
Tick.
Yep.
John, were you looking at my ass?
I was, yeah.
Fucker. Yeah, Tech's cool, man. I rest in peace, Tick.
Yep.
But yeah.
I see you've got a lightsaber now, Rick.
How do you see that?
The box, the Obi-Wan saber.
Black box.
I opened up the Kenobi one.
Isn't that cool?
It's very well done, man. These are so much better than the original Black Series ones. The original Black Series ones were, I don't know, where the blade didn't come out.
Yep.
They were cool, but the blade
can you do that Can you do that action again? I didn't get the picture.
Yeah, I don't. They got the fat neck, so you can't put the blade in here. But I will never put the blade in here. I don't. I'm a lightsaber hilt guy. I'm not a dueling cosplaying kind of guy. But yeah, this is fucking pretty cool. And do you know how much I paid for this, Eric?
$20.
Probably
$39 Canadian.
39. What?
Amazon fucked up. So,
I got mine on sale from Target. Like I paid like maybe $190 US.
Oh, that's still really good. I pre-ordered it for $39 Canadian, like 8 months in advance, and for like 8 months, me and like maybe 100 other Canadians were like, "Oh, are we gonna get the deal? Are we gonna get the deal? Are we gonna?" Because every once in a while they would change the picture to be like, "Oh, it's a Play School Easy Bake Oven or something." They just another product, and we're like, "Oh no, they're gonna send us like a box of frickin' diapers or something, right?" Like. And some people did get like the wrong thing, but most people did get the actual lightsaber, which is cool, man. It pays to follow me and my affiliation on Amazon because I sometimes find these links early, and if they make a mistake in the price, they gotta honor it, man. So what are you guys doing this weekend? I'm going to a toy show tomorrow, so I'm going to buy every Hammerhead I can find.
I have to prepare I actually have to move a bunch of crap and set everything back again because our aircon broke. Well, broke because my dad took the damn thing apart because it wasn't cold enough one day.
Hey, Sam Squanch. Uh-oh.
And now that he loves to tinker with things, and he now it's broken beyond repair. It's going to cost us $3,700 to fix. So.
Jesus.
Vern wants me to tell everyone that all the stuff that people won on his channel shipped out today.
Okay.
I don't know if he's telling me because I won something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I'm not a winner. You guys are all winners.
I'm spending all weekend moving everything that's there on the way to because the air conditioner's in the ceiling. So I've got to take a wall of comics away, a whole row of bookshelves that have everything. The wall has photos on it over there, so all this stuff has to come down, which means the place is going to be a mess again for weeks as they install this new air conditioner. So,
what about you? You having baby this weekend, Sir Eric, or what?
News on that front. At the very latest, we're going to the hospital the night of April 13th. So,
like planned date, so to speak.
Yeah, they're going to induce her then if the baby doesn't come.
Nothing happens before. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So it's close to
less than 2 weeks.
Time.
Yeah.
Awesome, buddy.
At the very latest, like 2 weeks from today, I'm expecting my first child. So,
dude, that is so awesome.
Is she technically overdue, or is it just okay?
No. They're moving things earlier. No, they're moving things earlier. I don't think I'm saying anything super confidential, but she has like gestational diabetes, and she's been taking insulin, and when you take insulin and whatnot and have that kind of condition through the pregnancy, the baby grows faster.
Gotcha.
So they want to make sure that they get her out. So the original due date was April 21st. So they're just like right now they just move things up a week, but we go in for another ultrasound next Thursday.
Yeah.
So
they can tell the development and where she is and what they. Yeah, exactly. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mom's doing well.
Yeah, she's
large and in charge. I'm thinking.
Yeah, she's just uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, she's healthy and.
Everything's
keeping you warm in bed because it's the biggest woman you ever slept with, right? You're loud. That's awesome, buddy. I'm very happy for you both. I can't believe you named your child Rick after me, even though it's probably a little girl. But no, I'm very happy for you, dude.
Actually, do you know yet, or did you guys try to keep
the name? The name?
I know the sex.
Oh yeah, we're having a girl. We're having a girl, and we're naming her Freya. Really excited.
He said he's naming her Rick. No,
Rickette Brown.
Awesome.
Freya Brown, right? Is that what you said?
Freya
You're
Brown.
next, Super John.
Yeah, that's a good name.
Oh, Sam Squanch.
Yeah. But honestly, awesome. I can't get near my wife in bed because she's got these pregnancy pillows that surround her. So I'm just on my own half, and I'm like, okay, whatever.
All those empty bowls of ice cream and chocolate chip cookies everywhere. I don't know. Don't pregnant people eat lots of weird food all the time?
Normally, but
ice cream
because of my wife's condition, like she's perfectly healthy and she's not a diabetic or anything. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but she's not a diabetic normally. She's tiny and she's a vegetarian and super healthy, but she has gestational diabetes. So she
during this period, yeah.
So she can't eat what she wants and she's not observing all of the stereotypical kind of pregnancy tropes of must consume everything kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I've just heard cravings that were odd. I heard friends of mine, the wife liked pickles and ice cream.
Yeah, pickles in ice cream. They
combo, right?
You melt the ice cream and they dip the pickles in. That's what my friend did. Yeah.
I've not heard of that. The only thing that happened with
you should offer it to her and see what happens.
Certain in the first trimester, certain foods made her nauseous. The thought of coffee, and she's a big coffee drinker, made her nauseous, and other certain I can't remember what, but certain things would make her sick to her stomach just thinking about it. But
wow,
yeah. So she hasn't really had the same kind of cravings as much.
My friend did the pillow thing too because she found out that if she slept normally without the pillow fortress, it would hurt her back.
Yeah. So my wife is So my wife's tiny, and this baby is she looks like a balloon basically right now. You could probably roll her down like Willy Wonka, Veruca,
I don't think it matters. Whatever. Both are disgusting.
But
sweetheart, Dill.
But yeah, she needs the pillows to support her belly underneath and her back because her back is killing her.
Yeah.
I cuddle up with a pillow. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not pregnant.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
And I have a cat. This cat sleeps wherever he wants. Peanut butter with white onions. Oh my God! See, there's just think of a really odd, wrong combo, and that's what some. That can't be real. There's no way you're eating raw onions and peanut butter between bread. That's torture or something.
So in college there was a restaurant that had a burger that it was peanut butter, jalapenos, bacon, and like cheese and whatnot. And
that is a thing. That is a thing. I haven't had it because it's not my thing.
Yeah.
But it's peanut butter on gourmet hamburgers at restaurants is a actual thing, man. G-Force just mentioned the name Cara Dune here.
No.
Here's a thought. What if Cara Dune died in that rescue of Moff Gideon on that shuttle, and that's how they add that to the storyline? Wouldn't that suck if that's what they did? Or if the flashlight, sees like her dead body there? Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah.
So what are you doing this weekend, Eric? Anything your wife says?
Yeah, hopefully getting some video games in before the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed. I guess that free Satan Beelzebub video game trial is over because John hasn't been playing for the past 48 hours.
Yeah, jeez.
It was only those 2 weekends. That's it. We have to wait till May.
Only. Okay.
We have to wait till May 30th now.
How many hours did you put in?
96 hours between those 2 weekends.
Jesus.
I can edit that part out of the video so other people don't know that, John. But I won't.
Hey, I wasn't even the most. There's some guy on YouTube who clocked in 110 hours. So
was his
That's
name
not far off.
1000th Ghost? Or
no.
Because they were playing with you. And your brother, too? Yeah. Wasn't he playing, too?
No, it was one of the guys like Raxter or Riker, one of those guys, the big YouTuber guys that do the video games. He logged in over 110 hours. Yeah, he showed his screen.
All I think about when John, we play games, and I'm a gamer, and I'm not one to like make fun of gamers, but every time I think of people that do like gaming marathons like that, all I can think of is that one South Park episode, Make Love Not Warcraft, and it's like, man, bathroom.
Yeah, he had a pile of chips like sitting at his chest right there, and he's like,
and it's just like the chair they're playing on is just like a toilet, and just like sprayed diarrhea all over his mom.
You guys didn't see that, right? I didn't share that, did I? No, right? That's not on the screen.
Yeah, we saw that one.
Oh, no, I shouldn't be sharing that. No, I'm just kidding. These are 2 new pins I'm dropping this weekend. I haven't decided whether it's Saturday or Sunday because I will be at a toy show, and I've never dropped pins from on location before, but I might give it a try. Saturdays tend to be better for dropping pins than Sundays, but yeah, a couple new
commercial for them. I'll put a commercial in my next video or 2.
I'll work on it. I made my one original commercial. Where do we go? This one here.
New from Left Coast Graphics, the Enamelian Falcon spaceship pin. Collect them all.
So I uploaded that to YouTube as like not a short because of it's in
the wrong
format. Just a short 10-second commercial. About a week ago, I got a thing from eBay saying, "Oh, we've removed the audio portion of this video and marked it as private because that audio is no longer available." I'm like, it's me in the audio.
It's mine. Yeah, like what the hell are you talking about?
With a microphone.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what's up with that. YouTube has weird rules, but yeah. So 2 new pins dropping this weekend for you.
Well, I saw the Dino commercial. You like that one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dino gets free merch for doing that. So just so you know, if you guys go through any trouble and you make a little advertisement for the Left Coast Graphics brand, you get free stuff, man. Come on.
Yeah, that was a great commercial. I thought he did a brilliant job with that.
Yeah, Dino's awesome, man. You guys are all awesome. So yeah, I don't want to keep you guys for many more hours. I want you to enjoy.
I could talk with you guys forever. I mean, I
could too. I'm still
I love talking Star Wars and pulling it apart and making up these theories. Even if none of it comes true, it's just fun to talk with you guys. And Eric knows so much. He likes to go into this stuff like I do. You know,
I totally more than appreciate Eric because, you know, even though we're all 29, Eric is younger. Eric is 28. No, Eric is younger than us, so he's a little more of that prequel energy.
But he knows the lore. Like I mean, I grew up with Star Wars. I know the old trilogy, but I don't know all these legends and comic connections, even though I read all the comics and stuff. Like, things go through my head and come right out the other side. I don't retain a lot. So I can ask Eric these questions, and he'll be like, no, that was this guy. He's not quite the same guy as that guy, and that's this. And that's what I love about it. It's just like chatting about this stuff, you know?
I'm 35. I'm not that young.
What do you think is going to get dropped on us next weekend in the good old London?
Well, they're going to see the first episode of Ahsoka. I bet you that.
Yeah. Okay.
I do not think that they will not air a full episode. They will probably
they'll get a screening
trailer.
They'll get the first trailer. It will be an exclusive.
They already had a trailer, didn't they?
No. I don't think it will be a trailer. It'll be a teaser. It'll be a Celebration exclusive teaser because I think it's coming out later in the year, and they pushed out the Acolyte further, but they're probably going to do some more teaser for the Acolyte. There will probably be a more robust. I can't remember. Is Ahsoka coming out
this Christmas
before Skeleton Crew?
Yes.
Yeah.
Before Christmas. And Skeleton Crew, I think April or shortly after
next
Christmas.
year. Okay.
Do you think this will be like the first Celebration in a long time that they don't actually show an episode of something?
Well, what they did for Mando.
Every Celebration, I've seen an episode of something before the show.
They played a 10-minute clip from episode 1 of Mando in Chicago for us at the Mando panel, right? Favreau was out there and Cara Dune and Pedro. They played 10 minutes of a scene.
That's right. Yeah, that's
but we didn't get the full first episode.
That's true. Yeah, it was like
but in Anaheim last year, I believe there was an episode of a cartoon.
There was. They got.
Yeah,
I don't care about the cartoon.
They showed us the baby Ahsoka episode of Tales of the Jedi.
Oh, so like a 3-minute-er, right?
It was like 15
they could do that.
minutes.
Yeah.
So I didn't see them giving us.
Because they also got Vision
Star Wars
Ahsoka clip.
If they show anything, it'll probably be
young Ahsoka with Ashley Eckstein. They're going to save that. They're going to show Rosario Dawson in a couple of scenes with Mando or blah blah or Luke or whatever, and then boom, Ahsoka will drop in December, episode 1, and it'll be younger Ahsoka. They're going to surprise us, I think.
Yeah, but even if they do younger Ahsoka, I would not expect them to have Ashley Eckstein doing.
I think if they didn't, I would.
It'll still be Rosario Dawson.
Burn all of my Star Wars collection if they chose a different actress to play a teenage or 20-something Ahsoka. It would be just.
But
it would be
Ashley doesn't look that young. She doesn't.
She looks 12 now, and she's like 40.
No,
but she looks 12.
Not if you see her in real life. She's.
I watched today's Space Runners Lounge was at her panel in WonderCon. Yeah, she still looks like she gets pimples, man. Like she's very, very, very youthful.
If they do young Ahsoka, they'll still probably use Rosario Dawson for that. But
I don't know. I think they have to prove me right. Just because I made a Left Coast theory that said Ashley Eckstein will play a live action Ahsoka in a flashback, they would make me look like a fool.
I think
what would look good in orange makeup. Come on.
I think what would be better is I'd be mildly disappointed if they didn't have a role for Ashley Eckstein in the Ahsoka show as like a different character.
That's what I think we're gonna see. Yeah.
But I don't think she'll play like a different version of Ahsoka or maybe even another Togruta.
I think it'll be, and I think she'll just be a cameo. It'll be something that, just for the fans.
I hope it's more. I just hope it's more. I bet you, because they mentioned the Vision season 2, I bet you they like play. Here's one episode of Visions. One.
Yeah, that's low cost for them to show.
Or that other.
I bet you it's the robot chicken one. Or not robot chicken. The sheep one. Who's the claymation sheep people?
Aardman.
Yeah, they've got a episode in season 2 of Visions.
No shit, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
The people who made those sheep fucker videos.
Wallace and Gromit.
Wallace and Gromit. Yeah. The stop motion.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. The
other thing you brought up was that Jedi cartoon. That little. Those are real short ones, right? Aren't they?
Yeah, but I don't think another season of Tales of the Jedi has been announced yet.
No, not that. Isn't there a kid?
Oh, they might announce it because they could do that they could produce it, write it in a day. Literally.
Yeah. I think they're gonna do more of those.
I meant like the little kid one. Isn't there like another?
I think so
Jedi,
too.
like,
I think it's a good.
The High Republic thing with that nubs.
Yeah, related to those. Yeah, isn't there like a little short cartoons?
That's a YouTube series that's launching on Disney Plus. Yeah, it's going to be on YouTube as well as Disney Plus. Yeah,
but they could show some of those, wouldn't they?
Yep,
maybe. Is there other cartoon panels other than the Visions panel? Well, the Bad Batch panel, of course. I don't think there's any new, unless they drop some new cartoon product in the overall Star Wars Lucasfilm panel. Like maybe they drop Indiana Jones the cartoon and Ray the cartoon. Like they might
already cancel that Indiana Jones Disney Plus show.
I think so.
That's what I love about this stuff. Hey guys, we're gonna do this. Like half the stuff they announce at Celebration, they're gonna cancel 3 weeks later. So it doesn't matter what they announce. They'll announce something new and cancel it 3 weeks later.
Because, like I said, I've only been to the one Celebration, and I was lucky enough I was able to go to the Mandalorian panel with all the actors and directors. The 20th anniversary of Phantom Menace and the prequel panel. I got to go to that and see, Ahmed Best and, all the actors from that series. And I even got to go to the Hasbro panel, which wasn't a big deal one. But, I mean, I got to go to the cool ones, I thought, and a few of the collecting panels. Because, those are fun to go to as well. Like, Mark is doing a frickin' panel. Like, Blue Harvest Toys, he's got an hour to sit in front of however many people walk in that room when he's talking. He's got, an hour to tell people how much he likes Princess Leia dolls. And he might have 100 people in the room. He might have, Paul and a bunch of horny old ladies in the room chasing him down,
So I'm just going through. I haven't paid attention to it because I'm not going.
Oh, I love Shadows of the Empire, yeah.
But we're just looking at the Celebration panel schedule for the Celebration stage, which, for those who don't know, all of the big panels are on the Celebration stage. So just reading through it.
You didn't get any, Paul? That's terrible.
Oh, no way.
Oh, that's a bummer.
That's really bad. They usually try
to.
I
think you might still be in luck, Paul. I think you might be pleasantly surprised that they make an announcement. Oh, this panel is spilling over into another room, and you can watch it on the Jumbotron. So,
yeah, they usually.
That's not the same thing as seeing, Bo-Katan right in front of you, or whoever.
So unfortunately, recently they've included the. Those other rooms that they have content streamed to included in the panel or in the lottery. So you even need a lottery winning to be in one of the other rooms where you don't see it live, you see it streamed on a screen, which is
it's a cool experience. Like,
yeah,
if I was in a room watching Pedro Pascal and Dave Filoni and stuff on a Jumbotron, I could watch it from my hotel room or from home. Like every celebration except for that one I went to in Chicago, I watched live on YouTube for 2 days. I'm just Star Wars. I wish I was in Star Wars. I'm not there, but I'll watch this for 24 hours straight. And I'll do it again. I'll do it again next week if anyone wants to jump on and stream with me while I drool at all the Star Wars I'm not doing. then feel free to join me.
Yeah, that's my plans for next weekend, as long as I'm not in the hospital. But so the panel schedule for the celebration stage, they've got the studio showcase, which is generic. So at last year's studio showcase, they also had like Willow and and Indiana Jones. So my guess is they're going to have more Indiana Jones stuff. They're probably not going to address Willow if it really got canceled.
Maybe just like a recap. Here's Warwick Davis because he's here and lives here anyway. Yeah. Hello, and then a couple of the characters.
But my guess is the studio showcase, more than anything, is going to highlight Indiana Jones, and you're going to see Harrison Ford on the stage, and they might show or like launch or announce like the next movies on that one. And then they have Making of Andor with Tony Gilroy and Diego Luna.
I bet you that drops on Disney Plus next weekend. Or next Thursday.
Yeah,
after the celebration.
I'm surprised they haven't done a what do you call it? The Disney Gallery for for Andor. But then they have an Ahsoka one, so you know that they're going to show at least a teaser, if not a full trailer, for Ahsoka, and it'll be like celebration exclusive content. They have 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. Creature Cantina, I think that will just be showcasing like
Hammerhead.
Different creatures. Like I saw a version of this in Chicago with Neil Scanlon showing off a ton of stuff.
Yeah, because there'll be lots of the Return of the Jedi actors there, including Sean Crawford, Yak Face, and whoever was Hammerhead. I'm sure will be there because they're like the king of all Star Wars is Hammerhead.
So this one's interesting. They've got a Villains of the Sequel Trilogy panel with Ian McDiarmid, Andy Serkis, Gwendolyn Christie. Interesting.
They have Kylo showed up because he's never showed up at a convention that I know of.
So then they've got a look back on Obi-Wan, and they'll have Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, and a whole bunch of the cast and crew from Obi-Wan. A Disney Parks panel, a Bad Batch panel on the celebration stage. They might have season 3 content already in the works.
I would think so.
And then they do have a Visions panel, so they're probably going to drop like the first episode or 2 of Visions, and then the closing ceremony. So yeah.
Yeah, as Paul mentioned here, he's going to do some recording of Mark Blue Harvest Toys doing his one-man panel kind of thing. He applied to get
cool.
Get a room for an hour to talk Star Wars, and I think his title is Toy Historian. And you only get that title when you're old and have white hair. So congrats, Mark. Look forward to seeing the video. Nice. Even if Paul shares a little clip on Instagram or Facebook something during the day, it'd be cool to see.
I'm really, really curious about the interview with Hasbro, because I know that Mark, he thinks even like I don't know, I could see him being more ruthless than any of the rest of us, because I know that he calls it modern. What does he call it? Modern tat. Yeah, modern tat. So it's funny that he got picked to do the interview when he doesn't even really like the modern stuff that much. So I wonder, my thing is, will they screen his questions ahead of time and not let him actually ask the tough questions?
Well, no, he's just walking up to him at their booth and asking them questions. I think that's his interview. That's how they do their interviews.
There's a panel. There's a panel with Hasbro, and Mark is the interviewer. He's the one.
No, that's not. I think you heard it wrong.
So when
Mark is interviewing him, but he's not like that's not what Mark's panel is.
No, so Mark's got 2 panels essentially. Is what I'm starting to say. His panel on Friday night, but then there's a Hasbro panel, and Mark is the presenter. Mark's the guy. He's going to sit there and interview him.
Mark, no. Hasbro has a panel that, let's say, 500 people can go in the room.
Yeah,
they do their little panel. They show a little slideshow. They show
give
off
some stuff
They
away,
show off 5 new Hammerhead figures that they're releasing, and then you go stand in a little
he
lineup.
just gets
then you go stand in a little lineup if you want to ask Hasbro.
He's predetermined to basically
panel.
have one question, is what you're saying. Okay, I get what
Yeah,
you're saying.
or
No.
then they have a big part in the booth. The 3 people that work for Hasbro will be at the booth. Here, look at the new Hammerhead figures over here, and here, look, we got a new Omega mask.
Yeah.
That's when you can give yourself 10 minutes, 50 minutes to give them an interview.
But with those,
they rush through it, right?
Yeah.
Because there's 10 other people that want to ask them questions. They're selling the brand.
I saw a whole bunch of people in the community doing those types of interviews, but you have to, like what you said, Rick, you have to like get in touch with Hasbro in advance and book a slot to visit them at their booth to like get approval to record like an interview.
It depends.
I never have.
I've only been to a Hasbro booth once, and I walked right up and I asked them whatever the fuck I wanted. And
I walked up and said I want to do
all of them. Yeah. But I wasn't a YouTuber or anything in 2018, and I didn't walk around filming myself talking to people, right? Yeah. But I met Mark Boudreau, the designer of the Millennium Falcon and many other Star Wars toys. And I'm like, oh my God, and I pretend to bow to him, and I got his autograph, and I got a selfie. Here, let's take a selfie. Like, you're the coolest person in this booth. So I didn't go like, where's the plastic-free packaging, and where's
Well, that's what I'm referring,
right?
That type of an interview, I think you need to book it like in advance, unless you unless you
pull any strings or interrupt their purpose of being at the con, then for sure.
But
especially if you're going to film it.
But they're open to talk to. If anyone's there, I highly recommend you go talk to them and give them constructive feedback. Right?
They're cool people, man. I met Eric, and I believe it wasn't Emily, it was another girl when I was there. And I met them, and I asked them, man, I got some silly questions as an artist, right? Because they kind of knew who I was, believe it or not. I'm kind of known by the people that design Star Wars toys in the industry. So, I might ask them questions in regards to designing the figures. Did someone draw this? Was this sculpted in-house, or was it sourced out? Like, those are, I only remember a couple of the
industry questions.
Because I wasn't there for filling a spot in my YouTube channel. I was just out of curiosity. And when do I get a job? So
I can't count how many times I've tried to apply to work at Hasbro and work on the Pulse team and whatnot, but they won't even I can't even get in contact to speak to someone about it.
I emailed Dev at Gentle Giant. He's my contact. I'm like, hey, do you guys, a couple weeks ago, you guys need some help setting up the big booth in London? I'm fucking big and strong, and I'm free that weekend. Yeah. Dust bunnies flew by, little birds, but no reply from Gentle Giant saying, come on down. Because, I think they just go with 2 or 3 people and they do it all themselves.
I always tell, I wish that was something I could get back into, because the first year I worked for Lego, they would send people like me to those conventions. And I keep hearing the last couple things they did, they're sending higher level management up. And the last time I was talking to my boss's boss, she had to go to one of these shows and she said she hated it. And I was like,
Mrs. Lego?
And I was like, I will go in your place. I want to go, and it's like, if you hate going, you're not going to represent the brand in the best way. I will go and represent the brand in the most positive way you could ever imagine, So I'm like, I don't know. They're not. If they're going to pay for an airfare for someone, it has to be someone high up in the company. They're not going to do it.
I guess. I looked a little bit into going on a little small convention tour myself, as a vendor, selling my wares. There's Designer Con in California. Fan Expo in Vancouver, which already happened. There's another Fan Expo in Calgary, one in Toronto. Like Seattle has their Emerald City Comic Con. Like, there's a few bigger conventions that are fairly easy for me to get to, and I looked into it, and it's quite reasonable. Like none of them would cost me thousands of dollars in airfare or thousands of dollars in the booth rental, the retail spot. They're quite reasonable, like $500 here, $200. Like it depends on how many days you're staying and stuff. So I thought about it. I didn't do it this year, but next year I might go on a little bit of a tour because as I'm still a self-employed person, I don't have those Monday to Friday kind of things tearing me back. I would like to check out.
If I still lived in Seattle, I'd be like, all right, I'm going with you. Let's do it, Rick. I'll tag along and go to all the shows with you.
Conventions, but I've only been to a couple. Like I've not, and I like them. Like, and I'm a grown man. They didn't have things like this when I was a kid. They had nothing. They had Toys R Us store or Zellers or
Well, they did. You just
didn't have convention. Now they have autograph convention where it's just
the first comic book convention was in 1978. So come on, I mean
it wasn't in the current form that they are right now.
And I used to go to Star Trek conventions even in the 80s. That's
I went to the Star Trek.
My autographed picture of William Shatner is from like 1985. Like that's when I met William Shatner. It was in like
I think how many years he's been doing this lifestyle.
I've been going to Star Trek conventions my whole life.
Well, you have. How about William Shatner, who's 91 years old?
Yeah.
So has he been going to conventions for like 70 years?
Basically, I think
how many autographs?
I know there was a period in the middle
in his life.
There was a period in the early 90s where I think they all hated Star Trek for a period of time, wasn't it? Like maybe, I remember because like Spock put out that book, like I'm not Spock, and I remember Shatner like yelling at someone at a different show or something, saying like, "Not everything I did is related to Captain Kirk. You guys can get a life and do other things." Remember that whole thing where he told that kid to get a life, and so I think there was a period where everyone, and I think even modern actors go through that. Didn't Will Wheaton go through a period where he was like, I'm not just Wesley Crusher. I hate that character.
But you are. Get over it, Will Wheaton. You'd be nothing but for that.
But it is a bit different now. Like, I can understand where in the past, like,
there was no money 20 years ago in it.
That's 100% the point I was going to make. Like, William Shatner, like, isn't going to cons and getting all the fat cash from, like, showing up and like having the appearances and also picture money and autograph money and all of that. That's a whole freaking industry now. That it's just the convention circuit, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I got one more.
Rick has got a crazy theory. Rick has got a crazy.
I've only watched one episode of Picard. 3 seasons of Picard. I've only watched one episode. And I'm not spoiling anything. Captain Kirk will be back. I'm calling it right now. Whether he's a clone or I don't know. We'll see.
You saw his body? You saw that?
No, I didn't. He's not. I'm not spoiling anything. That nothing like that has happened. But I'm just saying.
Wait,
all those other next generation people.
You just made that up. You didn't actually watch the last episode?
No, I did watch the last episode.
Oh, okay. So then he was.
What? I saw Picard's body.
No, you didn't pay attention.
No, I didn't pay attention.
In the Dystrom,
I don't pay much attention.
In the Dystrom thing, they had one of those cells that they walked by. The girl looked in, and it was Captain Kirk's body.
Was it really?
And that's what everyone's wondering is how it was. They dug him out of that planet that he was buried under the rocks on.
That's fun. I'm hearing nothing but all the Trekkies are praising this season.
Oh, I love this series.
It does nothing for me, but I'm very happy for all you Star Trek fucking nerds. You finally get something. Yay! Because that wasn't a huge
on right now, other than the Mandalorian.
But I know I've watched every episode of Next Generation growing up.
I've probably watched Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager. I've probably watched well over 100 times.
And then the original Captain Kirk series, I know I watched all those growing up.
Oh, yeah, hundreds of times.
And Generation, even in syndication, not now, but modern times, like in the past 10 years, it was always on at 6 o'clock after the news or something. So I squeezed in a few more hours of Next Generation watching time.
I've seen all these. It's just like Star Wars, where I've watched them so many times. I could probably see a 1 second clip, like just see like a blip, and I would know the entire plot and what episode that is. You know what I mean? It's like I'm like that. Same with Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like Star Trek and Star Wars, I've watched so many times that I just know it all backwards and forwards, scene by scene. You know, it's like you can't.
Do you love it more than Star Wars?
No. Star Wars is my number one.
I have never seen a single episode of any Star Trek show ever.
Are you serious?
Really?
Ever. Wow. Not one.
Not even by accident? Like, how do you not turn on the TV and accidentally...
No. Like, I've like flipped channels and like there have been bits on, and I think I've inadvertently seen like a couple minutes here and there, but like I've never watched an episode,
like a full episode from the back.
Never a full episode. The only Star Trek content I've seen, just out of curiosity, I watched Wrath of Khan.
Okay, I was going to ask.
Yeah.
And I've seen the JJ movies.
Okay.
But that's it.
I like those JJ movies. They didn't suck. They were modern science fiction movies.
See, it was another thing that was ingrained in me from a little kid. Like, you know, my parents took me to see Star Wars, and then I would sit out in the front yard with my best friend Joey, who lived next door. We would play Star Wars in the front yard with our figures. And one night, my parents were going away for something. They had to go do something or whatever. So they took my brother and I over to the neighbor's house. Well, it was like 2 streets away, these people that they really trusted. And their kids were twins. I remember this. Their kids were twins. And their thing was that in the evening, Star Trek was on, like it must have been on syndication or something, you know, reruns. And they sat us all down. They made sandwiches. And I remember having my little peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And we were sitting on the floor. The parents were up on the couch, and us kids were all on the floor. And we watched Star Trek. And I just remember being like completely enthralled. I was like, what the heck? This is on TV? Like, what's going on here? How did I not know about it? And I went back to my parents. It was like, I got to watch more of this Star Trek show. And my mom sat down and watched it with me every week when they put it on, when it was come back on, you know. And
see, as a kid,
it became a thing to watch that old Star Trek show.
Yeah, see, even when I was a kid, like I'm old, but I'm not that old. When I was a kid, that old Star Trek show was in syndication. Like it was repeats of Star Trek.
Because this was like ago. This had to be like
it was
79.
Like it was very
like to be like 79 or even
it was very campy. Like it wasn't serious drama, as serious drama as nowadays. So I thought it was campy, and I didn't get into it. But then when Battlestar Galactica came out, like in the late 70s, Star Wars time, I dug the shit out of that.
Yeah, we watched.
I'm like, wow, this is
that's why we got into Battlestar. Yeah.
This is cool. This is not Star Trek like my dad watched. This is better in a way. You know, it wasn't really, but I mean, it was. Like I was a huge fan of Star Trek, or as Battlestar Galactica as a kid. Eric, you're a little younger. You did probably the new Battlestar Galactica is probably something you would remember more than the original.
I don't know. I've never seen. Wasn't Katie Sackhoff in Battlestar Galactica?
The new one.
Yeah, she was the sex swapped Apollo character from the original TV series. Apollo was a man played by Face Man.
When did that air? The early 2000s or something?
Yeah.
I was in high school then. I would have watched it. I just never got I've just been so much just Star Wars.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. The new Battlestar Galactica was made in Vancouver, so I was working at a sports place, and we sold a bunch of props to the makers of that show because they played space football, or Battlestar Galactica football. It was cool. I didn't like it near as much as the original science, TV show, because it was more gritty and, Lauren Green, good Canadian masterful actor. Oh, Sharknado's going on Eric's place.
Yeah, just listening to see what's
going on. I like
on.
Katie Sackhoff a little better as Apollo than I do as Bo-Katan. I like Bo-Katan better now than I did 3 weeks ago. Let's put it that way. Way better than Ahsoka. So, will Bo-Katan kill Ahsoka?
No.
No, I think Lord.
They were allies.
Yeah. We'll see, man. I better not be disappointed in 3 weeks at the end of Mando that it didn't give me that one big gooey chocolate Easter egg that I wanted.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know what it could be or how they can mess it up. I'm not saying they will mess it up, but I mean, I'm disappointed that Christopher Lloyd and Giancarlo Esposito have not been on this show. I hope they didn't get paid a lot, because fuck, man, like, how much you're gonna get 9 minutes of screen time? How much do you get paid for 9 minutes of screen time?
It's not like Pedro Pascal has screen time. He's doing
but Pedro Pascal for sure is making $10 million a season off this. He works many hours in a week during the filming of it, whether it's voice recording, screen cap, or that one scene where he takes his helmet off. But I mean, when you're not on 79% of the season, like, if this is 10 episodes, and there's 3 left, and they haven't shown these 2 actors yet, like, okay, man, why even tell us they're even in the damn show? Like, why didn't they tell us that Tim Meadows was in this 6 months ago? Because we won't see him again ever. We'll never see Tim Meadows again in Star Wars. Well, actually, we probably will. We'll get one more silly scene, but I mean, that was just a throw-in cameo for the hell of it. These are 2 big name actors, like Giancarlo Esposito, like Breaking Bad, Gus.
But consider this though, his screen time in, like, Giancarlo Esposito's screen time in an episode is probably going to be more significant in the like just complete duration of time than it would be if it was just like if Mando season 3 was just a feature film, right?
How much screen time did Moff Gideon get in season 1?
Well, season 1, it was just pretty much like the last couple episodes.
The very last scene, the last 2 minutes of the episode, right?
Yeah.
And then season 2, he was throughout the season, but I mean, 100 times more than he's been in season 3, because he's only had his name whispered twice in 7 episodes. So I'm really disappointed. Big name actors.
The annoying thing is just, like, I am all in favor of this kind of format with, like, Mando and all these shows being shows instead of feature films, because we end up getting more content, and
I agree.
It allows for more stuff that we wouldn't get to see in a movie. The drawback to that is watching it live and being like, give me more. Like, I need to chase the dragon.
Find that Star Wars vein. I'm dude. I know, like, kind of like watching Joey the Padawan Collector's videos on YouTube. When they're about to end, that music slowly rides in, and you're like, oh, the video's about to end. It's same with this Mando show, more in Willow, but because they had the music bang on in Willow. But it just kind of gets to a point where you're like, oh, they're going to end here, aren't they? They're going to end right now, aren't they? And then they end right there, and you're like, you did. You ended the episode on that stupid... So I kind of... I like it, but at the same time, I don't like it, man.
It'd be crazy. And sorry, I'm just going back to Star Wars Celebration predictions for the studio showcase. If they're looking to announce another movie. I know, like, from the same panel last year, and like when what's his name, Jonathan Kasdan, Larry Kasdan's son,
his son,
who was behind Willow, and also Solo 2 and or Solo. Everyone was chanting Solo for Solo 2, and
dude, what if they announced that
at Celebration? That's an outside. There's an outside chance. There's been like a lot of vocal fans basically begging for Solo 2, and
at a broken microphone.
And at Celebration last year, even Ron Howard was being like yelled at, like, make Solo 2 happen. He's like, don't talk to me. I'd love to do it. Like, you got to talk to, but
it would be Opie Cunningham's daughter that would do it. You know that?
You think it would be Bryce Dallas Howard doing it?
And maybe they get Ron Howard to produce it, because Cunningham. He's Kathy Kennedy level, if you ask me.
Yeah.
He made a lot more fucking movies than she has. And Bryce Dallas Howard is a much loved director now from her.
Give her a feature film. Yeah.
Her 2 years experience being a director, but she's done very well. Her episodes have been praised. Absolutely, I can see her getting a movie. And she's going to get the Solo 2 Disney Plus series, because I don't think it's going to be a movie.
So the only thing I think counting against that is that I'm not sure, like, that's something that, like, I think would be an awesome outside chance of just that would break the internet kind of for a little bit. But normally with these types of things, like, the Hollywood trades would pick up on stuff like that with actors signing deals and being spotted, signing contracts or whatever. But I don't think there's been any of that. So, like, as much as I'd love it to happen, I'm not sure it would. But that would be something cool to show off. You know what? They might even be able to show off some early Andor season 2 content. Right? They are filming.
Yeah, because they're currently filming that. Right?
They showed us Ahsoka stuff like when they just started filming, like the week before. So. Yeah.
I would love to do
another.
Know
Katie Safflock was Starbuck in the Battlestar Galactica because it was filmed here in Vancouver, and I bum rushed.
Yeah, set everyone was saying Apollo before, but we meant Starbuck. We meant Starbuck. But anyways, I would love a Solo 2 because I wanted to know what happened with the Darth Maul.
Kira and Darth Maul.
Thing.
They totally left that open, man.
Yeah, and this new job they were going to that was gonna, like, for Jabba the Hutt or whatever, like,
introduce Han to Jabba. Yeah,
it would just be cool to have that, because that job could even still be mixed in with Kira, and it could bring them. They could start with that job, but then as they're working on it, it turns out that Jabba's actually been hired to do something for Maul, which brings Han back to Kira again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Here's what's popular in the fandom that
I would love to see
be made a movie. You got the Dr. Aphra, bisexual.
What are they doing with Dr. Aphra?
Woman with
character,
not enough.
Badass black assassination droids.
Yeah,
that could be a very well done movie or TV series. And it's
Space Indiana Jones.
And I can't believe they're not
tell
yet.
A lot of stories in the comic books with those characters.
Oh, and it's some of the most popular comics too.
And in today's, I don't want to use the word woke, but today's culture, they do, the agenda is always twisted a little bit, and I can totally see them making that show, based on her character's sexual preference and whatnot. And then
I don't think her sexual preference comes into play.
Then it's not relevant. We shouldn't know that she's gay.
Well,
right? Why is it matter?
I mean, you see,
we only know she's gay because they show her kissing other females.
Yeah, but they show Han and Leia kissing. Do we need to know their sexuality?
Well, no, but we know their sexuality because they showed it.
What I guess my argument is
they also showed brothers and sisters kissing more than once in the same movie, right?
Right. We really don't need to see that, but Dr. Aphra's character isn't like defined by her sexuality. She's just a really interesting,
but it's a character that's more. Let's just I don't want to get hated for some of my stupid things I say. Let's just say more lesbian people like Dr. Afro's character than not lesbian people. Like it's
what?
You know what I mean? Like
no,
a bunch of little 5-year-old boys.
I think she's just a really compelling character.
Yeah. I liked her the minute she showed up in the comic.
No, she looks cool. She's a cool looking character, right? But I mean, there's a reason why they make Superman gay, or why they do shit. It's usually a stupid reason, but I mean, it exists, man, and it's part of our culture nowadays. But I'm just saying, she would be a very popular character to bring out into live action because she's well liked. Same with Emily's character from Solo, Kira. She's a great actress. She's a popular actress. She's in Disney and Marvel movies. She's in the new, coming up, the Marvel movie with Krennic. So she's in that family. There's no reason why we couldn't see another series move forward with her in it in the Solo 2 universe, right?
So question. I would love it if they did, whether it's live action or animated Afro series. Like, there's a lot of Afro content in the comics, and I don't know how they would necessarily tell those stories and include 000 and BT. But, like, without stepping on the toes of stories that already exist in the canon and whatnot. But if they did live action or animated series with or film or whatever with Afra, and they included 000, here's an interesting thing. I want to hear who you're fan casting as the voice of 000.
Tom Green.
That'd be funny.
I don't know. They're all like very similar to Anthony Daniels' voice. Like it's a.
Oh no, it would be Charlie Day.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious.
I like what's his name? Apollo Creed. Grief Karga's Copper Droid. He's just cool looking.
It's
and
like
Bo-Katan's dead blue droid was cool too.
The protocol
Very
below
retro.
and had a different head. Yeah, I want to figure
that blue droid on Bo-Katan's like planet there.
Yeah.
Was freaking rad looking. It was like an old 50s milkshake blender color. Like it just had that cool chrome and matte blue. Yeah, it was cool, man. I like the robots. I'm surprised we're not getting more of these creatures and robots in the Mando this season, but I don't know. They're throwing them in whenever they can.
I just I'm trying to think. I haven't even given any thought. I'd just be curious, like when you see 000, like whose voice do you hear reading the comics?
How about a drunk Anthony Daniels? Just a really pissed off. I'm not signing any more autographs, blokes. Because he's a storyteller. It'd be funny.
Yeah, I never really thought about that. When I'm reading the comics, I'm not putting a voice to it really, but you're right. I always feel like it's a little bit more calm and collected instead of like vicious sounding. Like to me, it's creepier if it sounds.
Well, I'm thinking Maximilian's voice in Black Hole.
Calm
and just very.
I have an idea for someone, and if you've, like, I'm not sure if you're familiar with his work or not, but it would be really interesting if it was Andrew Scott, the guy who played Moriarty in the Sherlock series with Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman. He would be in a really interesting 000.
Okay, I got my pick now. Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy? Okay.
Yes.
I just don't.
His accent at all.
I just don't.
Really, like, destroy.
Yeah.
What a robot.
He wants him sounding more menacing than, you know what I mean?
Where I don't like a hooligan, like
But they can make any actor seem menacing. Like they made Kylo Ren seem menacing, and he's like Barbie doll. Like he's just a very pretty, handsome, well-spoken, well-mannered, man. He's a military man in real life. Like he's just he comes. He's got a good presence, but he's meant to be feared when he goes like this, and his hair goes. Like he's.
I just think it's creepier if
pretty. He's a cool character.
I just think it's creepier if a murder droid has a calm, like
more like Andrew Scott. Like I think that would be
just like a just methodical voice that in a normal circumstance would be like TC-14 greeting you. You know what I mean? Like it would, where you're. Can I get you a drink? Are you all okay?
Yeah.
But now I'm
less robotic. Yeah.
Now I'm going to stab you with a knife and rip your heart out and take it and put it on a platter and cut it up into little pieces. It's creepier if it's.
Chopper has a voice. Chopper's the one astromech so far that kind of, has expressions more than R2 ever did. Almost like words come out of Chopper's voice. So
it is words, yeah.
Because he's actually a little more. Even the BD droid, the little BD Ray and Dio, like that was J.J. Abrams' voice apparently.
Yeah, it was.
That little Dio,
Dio,
or whatever he said. Yeah, we'll get some more cameo voices and droids and whatnot. But yeah, good call on the Solo 2. I just don't see Solo 2 would be cool if they actually went movie way and made a production like for a movie because I miss going to movies. But I'm also a huge fan of 12 hours of Star Wars content in a Disney Plus show.
I would have no problem with that being a Disney Plus series compared to a feature film. I just want to see more.
Emmy. There you go.
Yeah.
As 000. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
Adam Sandler. No.
Nick Cage.
I don't know how.
Vampire movie.
I don't know how a normal.
I want to see that. Yeah.
I don't know how a normal part of a regular video game that everybody did. It's part of playing the game. Became like a thing that apparently only I ever did.
What's going on?
You probably didn't see it, but a few years back, we were all playing Red Dead Redemption.
Okay.
Part 2. It was like online stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you know how like when you're out and about in the backwoods, you could, the guys coming at you on a horse, you would shoot them off the horse. Okay. And you would collect their belongings off the dead body, Yeah. Well, I learned that how the police would come, right? I learned if you picked up the body and walked it off the trail and hid it behind a bush, the police wouldn't come because no one would see the body.
What a thing to learn! Only experience would get you that.
So it was like when you had to go out and one of your missions was to kill somebody. If you didn't want to deal with the law, you could just hide the body somewhere, either behind a rock or just in the water or behind a bush or something, and the police wouldn't harass you. You wouldn't have to run and leave that red circle for a while. And now I'm known as the guy who hides bodies in the bushes,
What if they announced a Star Wars movie and it was directed by George Lucas?
That would break the internet.
Yeah, that would break the internet.
I'm just trying to think, what would break the internet?
That would
blow everyone's mind, yeah.
And it's not like it's something he always said, I promise I will never direct another. Like, it was just, he's been on a set of every show so far.
Yeah.
Every show. Whether he's had an influence or not, just by being there, and whether it's Deborah Chow or Filoni or Rick Fujiyama, they see George Lucas, they're like, oh my god, I gotta do this.
But would he
I gotta get this wrong. Oh my god, George is here. Like, can you imagine, man, if he was like not just a guest director for one episode of like Ahsoka? Because
I think that's probably more likely than him directing.
I would be happy with that. I guess if that happened, I'd be like, you know what? Happy to have you, George. Because he's
like if he did his own story, wouldn't he want to go back and do his quantum verse Star Wars thing that he talked about?
Maybe he makes THX 1129.
29, yeah.
Or American Graffiti 2, Too Fast, Too Furious.
with Ron Howard,
modded
Harrison
hot rods,
Ford,
Supras, and starring everyone that Vin Diesel hates. So, The Rock, everyone else that he's pissed off.
It should be Ron Howard and Harrison Ford drag racing.
Dude, Ron Howard has to be involved. He has to be involved. He has to be involved with anything. Like I said, his daughter, because she's more working in the industry now. Opie Cunningham, he's kind of not. I think he's just enjoying being, grandpa and a dad. And I know he's still
succeeded at. She succeeded at everything.
Kind of like Kathleen Kennedy style, and then have Bryce Dallas Howard direct. Make Solo 2 happen. Fuck, I think that'd be. They couldn't do better than something like that. I don't think there would be an announcement other than George Lucas coming back for some reason or another. Not a cameo, but like a directing contribution to something. I think the Solo 2 thing is, man, dude, I never even thought of that. Like, I know it's always been going around the internet, but now we're a week away. There's people out there right now that know what 3 Star Wars movies are being announced, and it hasn't been leaked. And that's the other thing I'm happy with is, like, the shit we've seen this far in Mando was not leaked. Like, I mean, there's rumors, this and that. I've got my theories. Helmets are coming off, and Bo's going to ride the Mythosaur. But, I mean, we don't know who Doc Brown is or his character. We don't. It hasn't been leaked. I'm rumoring it's Bo-Katan's dad. We didn't know that Bo-Katan was going to see that Mythosaur underwater. And, it's just weird, man. We didn't know there'd be a green seaweed pirate. Like, these leaks come and leaks go, but
green seaweed pilot
stuff they keep secret, man.
Swamp Thing.
They kept secret that Tim Meadows was some kind of general in it, and I don't know, man. It's weird that some leaks get out and some don't.
Yeah,
that's the part that makes me like that's all the leaks are done on purpose. Like we the rumor is IG-11 becomes some kind of walking mech droid with Grogu in his belly, So I'm assuming that's going to happen because
it could happen. Yeah, that could be their solution. He can't get the chip, so it's got to be.
He doesn't need the chip now.
It's got to be controlled by somebody.
He's been to that planet and back now, and knows it's safe. He no longer needs to build IG-11 for any reason whatsoever.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
we're just assuming.
But he didn't tell the Babu guys to stop working on him, though.
No, they're still working on him for sure.
Yeah, he didn't tell them to stop. So. Yeah, that could be Grogu's body. You're right.
See, Gilser knows.
You think he's going to crank it?
What happens when Obi-2 Kenobi bangs Omega's sister and they make a special Force baby? I don't have another microphone to drop, but somewhere there's an Obi-2 Kenobi. Isn't there? Could he be in the Solo 2 series? Same kind of timeline, right?
You're referring to the theory that Corky from the Clone Wars was, his character's name was Corky, was really the love child of Obi-Wan and Satine.
Interesting that's something that hasn't been brought up. But Obi Kenobi having a brother was brought up.
Corky Kenobi. What a shitty name.
What was Satine's last name? Satine? Is that the last name?
Kreese.
Yeah,
okay.
Kreese, yeah.
Because that is Sabine's mom. No.
Satine and Bo-Katan are sisters.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Satine, not Sabine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Sabine is a Ren.
Clone 1 and Clone 2.
Sabine is part of Clan Ren.
Yeah. Duchess Satine, who Maul killed, is Bo-Katan's sister.
Yeah, I think something like that. G-Force, I literally think he's going to have joysticks. Like,
you'd be like Krang.
Yeah.
Yeah, Krang.
I think he's just going to remote control him. I don't think we'll hear Taika Waititi do the voice again. That's my opinion. That's my theory. I don't think they're rebuilding IG-11. I think it's just some
a one episode thing.
Yeah, a 1 minute thing. Kind of like it'll show up to kill Doc Brown. in his flying Mandalorian. Man, I just want to know. I want to know, and I don't want to wait 3 weeks to find out who Doc Brown is. Do you think Doc Brown shows up at Celebration and they reveal who his character is? What a waste. Like a whole year. I don't know, man. Sometimes I don't understand the logistics of why they do things the way they do. Like, so next week there's a big Star Wars convention, and there's shit
there's still 2 episodes left.
Yeah, and there's shit they still have to keep secret for 2 weeks after. Like, that's tough.
That's
man.
bad. That's bad.
They should have planned that differently. I don't know.
Yep.
It's cool for announcing new stuff, but it's not cool for ending stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because so I guess in that way I get it. Say the Mando ended, and then the convention happened, and say everyone hated the Mando. There'll be a bunch of people rioting at the convention, so maybe
rioting.
That's why they don't do it.
But that
would happen.
It was really cool last year when we got to see the premiere of Kenobi. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you got a 1 episode premiere, right?
Yeah, and seeing Leia, that was like everyone went nuts. So
that's what I think will happen next week. We'll get to see that trailer on the internet. Me and you, and Super John, even G-Force will get to see it. That trailer that they showed when you were there last year, that never made it to the internet, but they would have added another couple $100 worth of special effects because I think it's kind of rushed when they
whatever Ahsoka trailer teaser
people at the convention will get to watch episode 1 of Ahsoka,
or maybe 10 minutes of it, or 5 minutes, or something. That would.
I don't know. I think they tried the 10-minute thing when I went, and then when Sir Eric went, they upgraded and they gave him a whole half-hour episode. So that was because the Kenobi was launching like the next day on Disney Plus. Oh, that was what if they drop Ahsoka next week?
They're not gonna. That's not happening.
It's December, right? Yeah.
Yeah. That's not gonna happen. Best case scenario, they show.
What if they drop an unannounced show?
They do like a 10-minute thing.
Vision's kind of dropped, right?
I think they will do a trailer, but you're right. The trailer will come out for us right after the panel.
Oh, we have to see the trailer.
Yeah, because they won't keep it exclusive again. Yeah, they won't keep it. This will be the first teaser trailer we see for the show coming out in December.
Yeah, it's time to start pumping that show.
Yeah,
not for me because they're not making it for me. They're making it for people that would be old enough to be my children, but which is cool. Star Wars fans are Star Wars.
They're making it for me. I like the show.
Oh, I know. I appreciate it. The Bad Batch is not making me want to go back and watch the Clone Wars, but now the Mandoverse is making me want to go back and watch, whatever that 5-episode Mando Wars arc, just to learn some of these characters and find out which one's gonna be Doc Brown.
I hope, if nothing else, all this content on Disney Plus helps introduce more people to Clone Wars and Rebels.
Absolutely does.
Whatnot.
It introduces people to the channel to begin with, which, as of course, every time they make a new show, they want to be popular and bring new people to spend $10 to spend their $10 a month on their Disney Plus channel. I like the weekly shit because the fact that I can get together with friends like you and we can shoot the shit about it and talk about it, have crazy theories and talk about whether we like the finale or not. Like, I don't want to do this once a year or once every 3 years when they make a movie. Like, that's no fun. Like, I like the weekly stuff.
I'd gladly trade this conversation though for all the episodes all at once and binge it, because this weekly format just kills me. Like, I'm like, give me more. I know you have more. Give it to me now.
The only reason I disagree with that, because on the shows that I ended up enjoying to binge, were after they were already out, right? So I can watch 10. Like for now, what's the Ted Lasso one? Ted Lasso, the coach.
Yeah.
I didn't watch that when it first came out. I didn't have those networks, but over the past month, I'm like, I'm going to watch season 1 of this. And I never knew any of the characters except the main actor, the main guy. Yeah. And I watched it, and it was freaking hilarious, and I loved it. that is not a show where I'm like, okay, I want to watch one episode and then wait a week to watch the next episode, because it doesn't. I don't know. It's a sitcom to me. It's just a modern day sitcom. The episodes are longer than half an hour, but I mean, this is a little more. Star Wars is a little more serious to me. Like, I don't mind the drama and the season, the cliffhanger, so to speak, for next week, because all the episodes tie together. It's not like they're all separate.
So
they're all like separate stories, like the Rockford Files or A-Team, where none of them mean anything to another episode.
The main reason why, there are two main reasons. One, from a selfish perspective, I want it all as soon as humanly possible, because I personally don't want to have to wait. But another thing that bugs me is, just generally speaking, critics of the show saying like, oh, it didn't do this, or like the storytelling isn't all that great, and why are we taking so long to get to this point? Why is this relevant? What if they watch it all at once? You could see in like more long form content and format, like where they're taking the story, and you'd have better grounds to judge the entire series all at once versus like nitpicking over dumb shit because you don't understand who's who in Star Wars and you're not like a huge fan. Just because you're a huge fan or not a huge fan and don't get it doesn't mean it's not like good content for the people who pay attention.
Yeah, I think for me as a super Mando fan, well, I'll go out and comment. I'm not a shill, but I'm a super fan of the Mando verse. I'm happy in this format. The people right now that are like, oh, I don't like this season of the Mando. Mando's going down the drainer. It's in the dumpster. Oh, the Nielsen ratings. Kathleen Kennedy's filed. Those people, if they got all 12 episodes at one time, they would actually like it. As opposed to disliking it or spreading the hate about it. Going on YouTube for 3 hours and talking about how much they fucking hate it instead of what we're doing. You know, we're giving a little bit.
I haven't seen any of that. My whole YouTube
giving it a little bit of criticism,
stuff about it.
Overall, we're loving it, man. We're fans of this. If we weren't fans of it, why would we waste our time talking about it? I don't get paid to be here. Do you guys get? Did I pay you guys to be here?
No, we just talking about Star Wars.
Yeah.
I think we get a Skeleton Crew trailer at Celebration. It's about time.
Yeah.
Bring it. But I have a feeling it's going to be made for kids. I don't know. We'll see. But I like comedy, so cheers, Paul.
I see, like, I have mixed feelings. Like, I do enjoy shows that are put out all at once so I can just binge them and see the whole thing. But at the same time, I don't enjoy waiting. I don't like it when a Star Wars show ends and I have to wait weeks for another show.
I get it.
I really, really want them to make these on a tighter schedule so that when Mandalorian ends,
you get another show.
I almost don't think they should have overlapped Bad Batch and Mandalorian. I think we should have had Bad Batch until it ended, and then Mandalorian starts the following week. And then when Mandalorian is done,
that's why I asked you guys, which should you watch first? Because what you watch first, you know, not because you're cooking or, you know,
but
getting a BJ under the table like you're not paying attention. I watch Mando first because it's more important to me, and I want to watch it first. It's kind of like when you had that TV dinner, had mashed potatoes, Salisbury steak, and a brownie, and creamed corn. You eat the fucking brownie first. That's the rule. It's what you do. You know,
it's more because like for me, I'm more likely to. Like, if I accidentally open up social media, I'm more likely to get spoiled by Mando than I am Bad Batch.
I was very disappointed this week and the lack of people not posting spoilers. Like, I stay up till midnight on the West Coast and I watch them. So I watched Mando, 12:30, 12:40. All right, Bad Batch. 1 o'clock, 3 almost 3 a.m. I'm still up and I'm watching the Bad Batch. I go on Twitter. There's already pictures of fucking Zeb and oh, I can't believe I'm crying. I'm crying. Tick is dead. And I'm like, it's 3 in the frickin' morning, man. People have not watched this. Like, and it's all I saw, man. Instagram, Twitter. Like, I only spent 1 minute on them. I went, hit refresh, and then if the first 4 things are like, oh my God, man, like, really? You have to be the first to spoil? So I'm a little disappointed, man. Like, at least wait 24 hours, a day or two. Post pictures of Zeb.
But I'm just saying, I just wish there were Star Wars every week. That's so. I wish I wish that they would think about when they're putting these out and have the schedule a little bit tighter, so that I would have liked to have watched Bad Batch every week. And when Bad Batch ends, Mandalorian starts. When Mandalorian ends, I don't care, whatever it is, if Vision Season 2 comes out, fine. And then when that ends, Ahsoka starts. And then when that ends... So there's no gaps. I can watch a new Star Wars thing every single week. I don't like waiting 6 months.
That's the perfect scenario, John. But realistically, as much as I would love to will that reality into existence, the best we're ever going to get is like Star Wars series, Marvel series, some other tentpole Disney Plus
too. Like, what happened to where's the next Marvel series? I'm just like sitting here
Secret Invasion.
Hasn't it been like 6 months since we've seen a Marvel thing?
Yeah, I think Secret Invasion drops this year, so in
June.
That I also don't mind. If it goes Star Wars, Marvel, that's fine for me too. I just want to watch something new in either of those genres every week.
Yep.
Because I love my time watching Marvel and Star Wars equally, and I miss it when it's not there.
That's what Disney needs to do to ensure that they retain Disney Plus subscriptions, because if there aren't, if the
6 months go by with nothing new,
people are.
I mean, as much as I love animals and I think elephants are awesome, I don't really care. I'm not going to watch the show about elephants.
No, I agree. There's not a lot of content on Disney Plus I watch that's not the Star Wars content. Like, I look through it sometimes. I'm a documentary slut. I love true crime stuff. I love,
I think Hannah Montana is. I think
Drain the Oceans, all that crap. But that's all on YouTube. I don't need to pay Disney Plus to watch Drain the Oceans.
I think Hannah Montana is cool. I think Miley Cyrus's career is an interesting thing. But I could care less about watching her concert on Disney Plus. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like I don't.
Yeah, you guys got it prime time.
I don't like I want to watch Star Wars and Marvel. I don't care about the other stuff.
I do miss going to a theater and watching that big blockbuster movie. Like, it's been a while for me, man. Like, the frickin' sequels are the last movies I saw in the theater.
I don't know how it is where you guys are, but down here in South Florida, half my movie theaters have closed.
My IMAX, IMAX closed. So I
had like 8 or 9 theaters within like 10 minutes of my house. There's like one left now.
Yeah, Regal.
They're all open here because they're big mega corporations.
No, the big mega one. They're Regal.
Regal
AMC,
went bankrupt.
They all closed. Yeah.
Well,
AMC, Cineplex here in Canada.
AMC didn't go bankrupt, but Regal did, and Regal shut down my local IMAX. I had tickets to see Ant-Man on IMAX, and they shut down they shut down the theater, and I had to go to an AMC nearby. So I don't have an IMAX anymore. That's
right. I'm assuming a lot of that's due to the pandemic and loss of.
It's 100%. Right? Yeah, it's 100% because that.
And Kevin Smith bought his own movie theater.
Yeah,
I think in New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
Do what you gotta do.
I actually thought about doing that. I was like, how much is it to get reels of old films and then like just keep the theater open, but play I want to be the theater in the United States that plays Star Wars movies in the theater 24/7.
Good luck.
You know what I mean?
Good luck getting Disney and Lucasfilm's approval to do that.
Don't tell them.
That'll go over like a red balloon.
I think I actually do believe that you would be, if you were the only theater in the country that was still playing Star Wars in the theater, the original Star Wars. Yeah, I think you would get people flying in from all over the world.
What do you define as original? Like the original theatrical cut?
Star Wars. I don't care if you play the special edition or not. Star Wars. If you put Star Wars Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi in the theaters on a loop 24/7, it went Star Wars Empire Jedi for like a month or 2 months, and just let it go, loop over and over, you would get people from all over the world flying in to watch the movies again in the theater. That's what I think. Because I would go. If it was in California, I would be like, and it was the only place I could see it, I would go, well, I got to make a trip to California at some time.
What if it was in Vancouver, Canada?
Yep, same thing. I'd be like, I'd have to go to Vancouver sometime, to watch it, because
I think in order to get that to happen, you'd have to sweeten the pot by doing the original theatrical cut and not special editions and whatnot.
With Q&A with George Lucas afterwards.
That would drive an audience, not necessarily showing Greedo shooting first and then saying McClunky, right? Like that's
McClunky.
Oh, a good callback to Han.
Well, no, Greedo no longer shoots first, right?
Carson Teva said, not Carson Teva. Apollo Creed, his character mentions a space pirate there. You shot first.
No, it's my turn to shoot first. Yeah,
and that was pretty cool too. I like his character, like the regality of him. Like he was getting the FaceTime call, and he's like, "Oh, make sure I look all prim and proper," and like, oh, "Hello there, I am Grieve Karga," and he's like, Jabba the Hutt. That was awesome. I liked it. It was pretty cool. Rest in peace to that green pirate dude, because I think he's gone.
Yeah. Well, that was a pretty good explosion. I don't know how you lived through that. So yeah.
Yeah. So much for that
nice and toasty.
I want to see more.
Max Rebo lived through that explosion of the sailboat.
True.
So.
True.
I just wanted to see more of that Ugnaught Mr. Smee first.
Yeah.
The Ugnaught have beamed them out right before they crashed. Crossover. All right, so you think 3 hours is enough, or we should go another 3 more?
Yeah, I'm going to go to bed. I'll see you guys later.
You guys are awesome. Sir Eric and Super John, thank you so much for hanging and shooting the shit and talking Star Wars with me. And to the fine folks in the chat and Michael Reed, thank you guys all for
the fine people and then also Michael Reed.
Thank you all for hanging and banging with us here today. Have a great weekend, and next weekend, hopefully, we get to hear some big-time Star Wars news, man, because, well, we all want more cool stuff like that. So thanks, everyone. We'll see you again soon.
No! This one goes there, that one goes there, right?
Left coast is the best coast.